Bowman.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. There's a risk of more flooding in Minnesota. A dam may collapse. Flooding also in Iowa and South Dakota. Blamed for 2 deaths. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
A risk for severe weather. Radar is clear for now. 74 and cloudy on Monument Circle. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Some parts of the state have already gotten some storms this morning, but more are expected later on.
Looks like all of the state has the threat for damaging winds is the primary threat, but there also could be a few storms with large hail.
Chad Swain with the National Weather Service. He says that threat also sticks around into Wednesday. He got a woman drunk and then sexually assaulted her. At least that's the accusation being made against a Hancock County commissioner. John Jessup is accused of encouraging a woman to drink heavily and then touching her private parts while she was passed out during a trip to Las Vegas. Jessup was arrested on Monday and will be extradited back to Vegas to face the charges. A man in Elkhart has been arrested for arson. Harrison Silcox explains.
It all started last Saturday when Elkhart police were told about a man trying to light a gas well on fire at a Marathon gas station. By the time they showed up, their suspect was gone. Turns out he headed to Elkhart Police HQ, only to light one of their cars on fire that was parked in the parking lot. Officers were able to put the fire out, track down the suspect Abraham Villegas Jr., and arrest him on a couple of felony counts of arson and one for resisting law enforcement. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Grooming his students. That's the accusation against a former high school teacher in Kokomo. Charles Jansen taught at Taylor High School until 2011 when he was terminated. Now state police are saying that former students have come forward accusing him of paying students for sexual acts and even paying them for bottles of pee and sperm. Jansen was arrested on Monday. WWE's Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania pay-per-views are each coming to Indianapolis at some point over the next 8 years. It's the first of its kind partnership that Indiana Sports Corp President Patrick Talty says Indy will reap a lot of rewards from.
These events are going to probably they'll be in excess of over $300 million of economic impact.
Talking to WIBC's Hammer and Nigel, the Royal Rumble will be in Indy in February of next year. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
Well, getting into downtown is certainly difficult this morning. Looking to westbound 70 from the east side into the north split. That is a crash with 2 center lanes blocked, stopping traffic past Emerson Avenue. Washington Street could be a better option here. Southbound 65 crash at 21st on the right shoulder, causing stop-and-go traffic back to MLK. Hancock County crash about 2.5 miles after to the west of State Road 9. It's blocking the right lane, causing stop-and-go traffic back to that interchange, State Road 9 Greenfield. Traffic sponsored by Mr. Quick Home Services. Attention Indy homeowners, is your cooling system ready for the heat? Don't sweat it. Mr. Quick Home Services has you covered with their special $89 cooling tune-up offer. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code EASY, or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off. RoundhouseProvisions.com, code EASY.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text EASY to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Up to 50% off on all of our windows and doors, plus 12 months, no payments, no interest. It's our great granddaddy of a sale.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Partly cloudy, hot and humid, an isolated storm or two. A high of 91 feels like temperatures close to 100. Scattered showers and storms late tonight into the overnight, a low of 72. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
74 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, June 25th, 7 minutes after 9 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Let's talk about Julian Assange right now. He was released from a British prison and making his way home to Australia. This after his 12-year battle against extradition to the United States. It ended in a plea deal.
Hey, we got to say something nice about Biden because Biden finally did something right for once. Good on him. Julian Assange is, in many ways, a national hero. They should name streets and erect monuments to him. And yet this guy, for exposing abuses and, in many cases, betrayals by the U.S. government, is some sort of foreign menace who spent the past decade plus in fear for his life.
Yes. Well, some people say it's a win for freedom of the press. Others worry that it sends a message that's risky about leaking government secrets.
Isn't this okay? So they act like he sent out the nuclear codes to people. See, this is the term, government secrets. Well, what if the government secrets are a total betrayal of what we're supposed to be and stand for as a country? What if the air quote secrets are government abusing its people or lying to its people or misleading its people? And that's what, in large part, Julian Assange did. That's what Edward Snowden did. Edward Snowden has spent the past decade living in exile in fear for his life. And until yesterday, Julian Assange was in prison fearing for his life. This is how we treat people in this country. We treat them as though they're traitors when, by and large, what they are doing is exposing the abuses, lies, and betrayals of our government to us as citizens.
So it is a balance between the public's right to know and the government's desire to keep certain information confidential. By the way, he spent $500,000 for his flight out of the UK so that he would avoid landing on American homeland. Well, he's afraid that he'll get grabbed.
If you knew somebody wanted to kill you, which is what was believed to be that they would execute him if he came back to America. This is what amazes me about Donald Trump is that Donald Trump, in many ways, used Assange, WikiLeaks, to get elected president, and then totally left not only Julian Assange but also Edward Snowden hanging in a lurch, even though he used those guys directly. Like Assange, he was talking about stuff that Assange had reported on the campaign trail in 2016, and he didn't pardon those guys. He didn't, make sure that no harm would come to them. Those people should have been allowed to come back to this country and be thanked for having the courage to tell America what's going on with this cabal that runs this country.
Okay, well, the one person who vehemently disagrees with you is Donald Trump's former Vice President, Mike Pence.
What a dirtball Mike Pence is.
He said that Assange endangered the lives of our troops in a time of war and should have been prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Wait. So Mike Pence, who voted to send these troops into these largely ill-begotten, never-ending wars based on, and Mike Pence is so inept and did so little research that he couldn't see that the, air quote, information that was used to justify, especially in the case of Iraq, of sending these people who thousands of people who went to horrific, awful deaths, brave American soldiers for zero reason. Many came home physically wounded beyond repair, many of them mentally scarred. Mike Pence voted to do that. But Julian Assange, what was the quote? What did he say that Julian Assange did?
He endangered the lives of our troops in a time of war and should have been prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Sure, right. So the guy who voted to send the people to the ill-begotten wars, what were we doing in Iraq? Can anybody 20 years later tell me what we were doing in Iraq? What did we get out of Iraq? Why were we there?
Well, we were originally looking for weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, did they find those?
No.
Well, where did they go? Where are they? What did they do?
Oops.
What I do know is that Mike Pence's boneheaded, awful decision-making created mass chaos in that region that allowed incredibly dangerous, international terrorists to basically take over that country, totally emboldened Iran, which made them much stronger than they previously were. And for whatever you want to say about Saddam Hussein, and look, you're never going to hang him on a list of nicest people in the world. He was a horrible human being. He was an awful, brutal dictator, but he didn't want to mess with the United States. That region was far more stable with him being there than it was afterwards. And Mike Pence has the audacity, who sent those people, those thousands of troops, to terrible, horrific, awful deaths, who sent thousands of people who came home with less limbs than they went in there with, who sent thousands of people who came home with horrible, awful, psychological damage done to them. He has the audacity to try to pin anything on Julian Assange?
Yep, he went on to say that there should be no plea deals to avoid prison for anyone that endangers the security of our military or the national security of the United States
Send Pence
ever.
to the front of the line of those people then. Send him right to the front of the line, because people are dead because of Mike Pence. People died because of Mike Pence. Thousands of people because of Mike Pence and people like him having horrible, horrific, awful judgment because they were always willing. These people in Congress like Mike Pence were always willing to use somebody else's printed money to fund ill-begotten wars to help a very select group of people. You know what happened out of Iraq? The military-industrial complex got bigger, badder, and richer than ever before. This should enrage people, Casey, that this guy who has made one boneheaded decision after another has the audacity to judge Julian Assange, who in large part did nothing other than inform the American people about what was going on with their tax dollars, how they were being abused, and how their money was being spent.
Mike Pence didn't like that. He doesn't like that transparency. So Julian Assange has to stop and make an appearance on a Pacific island, which shows exactly how complicated all these legal battles have become. And under the terms of the agreement, the U.S. Justice Department are going to seek a 62-month sentence, which is equal to the amount of time that he's already served. So they're going to say time served, and he'll go back to Australia as a free man.
The government in this country, and look, this is true of governments across the globe, but the government in this country on a daily basis does horrific, terrible, awful things to the people of this country. They lie to the people of this country. They deceive the people of this country. They waste the money of the people of this country. They put our brave servicemen and women in horrific, awful positions. Many times it results in their deaths for no reason or reasons only to benefit a very select group of people. And yet we repeatedly punish the people who have the audacity to tell society about what the government's doing. I hate that Julian Assange, I mean, look, he had to do what he had to do. Clearly, he was facing a much severe punishment. He was going to eventually have to come back to America. He had to do what he had to do to save himself. But I hate that he has to plead guilty to anything. I hate that he has this on his record now, because guys like him and Edward Snowden did nothing other than let the public know how the government is abusing you.
And isn't it interesting when something gets leaked that's propaganda in the U.S. media, journalists are told, oh, that's reporting and you're wonderful, what great integrity you have. But when it's something that Julian Assange does, they throw him in prison.
Yeah, and I want to come back to Trump for a second, because Trump had the opportunity to write this. And if you're going to use somebody on the campaign trail, if you're going to campaign based on the reporting done by someone, how can you possibly then, in any good conscience or good faith, allow that person, let's face it, Assange dangled in a prison, fearing coming back to this country for much of Donald Trump's presidency, or the fear of going into that prison and then coming back to the U.S. for much of Donald Trump's presidency. And Trump could have totally rectified all of that. How Donald Trump allowed both Julian Assange and Edward Snowden to not be pardoned, to walk out of that White House after everything that happened to Donald Trump, and rigged election this and stolen election that. And then you have guys who are reporting on the very sorts of abuses and cabal that you claim did you in, and then you just let those guys dangle in the wind. That's gross, man.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC, and Melania Trump may be doing something different, and we're going to discuss that coming up from 93 WIBC.
7 teenagers involved in a crash slammed And into a home, strong storms were moving through the area.
93 WIBC.
The right to use an abortion pill protected by the Supreme Court.
No legal standing to challenge the Food and Drug Administration.
Another news update is minutes away.
We do have a double standard, and our system of justice is broken.
IU Health
eliminating non-compete clauses for physicians practicing primary care.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Everyone knows how high mortgage rates have been recently. Because of that, most homeowners are staying put, investing into improvements and preserving the home they have. If you're ignoring any cracked bricks or concrete cracks, floor and wall gaps, bowed walls, or cracked chimneys, you could be ignoring underlying foundation problems. Problems that will only get worse over time. Indiana Foundation Service knows these signs lead to irreversible damage that could cause a reduction in your home's value. Don't wait any longer to have Indiana Foundation Service come out and inspect the problem. The team's experts will identify your home's issue at the source and come up with a plan to solve them. Visit IndianaFoundation.com today to book your free inspection with a no-obligation quote included. That's IndianaFoundation.com. Indiana Foundation Service. There's a reason they are the trusted local experts.
Indiana Foundation Service. Reliability from the ground up.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell has a great sense of timing, like bringing out Southern Blackberry Cobbler ice cream in time for summer. Rich ice cream with luscious blackberry flavor combined with flaky pie crust pieces and a blackberry swirl. The perfect summertime treat.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at all Meijer stores.
Did somebody say free diamond bracelet? That's right. Diamonds Direct is expanding upon their best offer yet. Make any purchase this month and receive a free diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. That's right. Any engagement ring, any diamond necklace, any timepiece. Purchase any item valued at $10,000 or more and receive a stunning diamond tennis bracelet at no extra cost. Every purchase of $10,000 or more qualifies. So hurry into Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet ends June 30th. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indie Decorative Concrete patio. Indie Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Send Fredo off to do this, send Fredo off to do that. Let Fredo take care of some Mickey Mouse nightclub somewhere. Send Fredo to pick somebody up at the airport. I'm your older brother, Mike, and I was stepped over. It ain't the way I wanted it.
That's good stuff. We did that when we were, came up with that when we were talking about Mike Pence's brother Greg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because, I mean, he totally is only where he's at
Because of his brother.
Because of his brother, right? I mean, you wouldn't hire that guy to run a Taco Bell, but yet, like he got to be a congressman.
Yeah, and the vice president.
And conveniently decided to quit as soon as he would be eligible for his very sweet government pension.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. And if Donald Trump wins another term, Melania Trump likely won't move back into the White House.
Can you blame her?
She's going to choose to live between Mar-a-Lago and New York City. No, I completely don't blame her. Her husband's a billionaire, and actually moving into the White House would be a step down from what she's currently living.
Look, you've been married for a long time, and, you understand better than anybody, because you and your husband have both had very successful professional paths, that marriage is sort of a give and take. There are seasons in marriage. You know who we've had this conversation with is Susan Beckwith before, because obviously, we said, hey, look, your husband has spent the past year crisscrossing the state, and he's basically never home, and you've got these two young kids.
Right.
Like, how have you handled that? And I thought she gave an interesting answer. She said, look, when we first met, I was Miss Indiana, and he gave up his life to follow me around, and now it's my turn to do that for him. And you and your husband have sort of had this similar thing where he was, kind of a big-time executive, and then you had your period where you did that, and now you've moved here because you wanted this job. That's what marriage is about, right?
Yeah, people say it's 50-50, but it's really not. Sometimes it's 80-20, sometimes it's 70-30, sometimes it's 60-40. When one's up, the other may be down, but it's the together that you move forward with.
And I've experienced this, or am experiencing this sort of in real time, where basically for the first 37 or 8 years of my life, I was 100% invested in myself and whatever I wanted to do and whatever. Then you get married and you have a kid, and that changes everything, right? Like, I am a full-time dad, part-time broadcaster now, right? I mean, it's like everything this job used to be my life, and everything evolved around this. But now your life changes in seasons and where you're at. And if you're Melania Trump, you've already been the first lady before, and you're not obligated to invest in something at her age. I mean, she's obviously very well preserved, but she's in her 50s now. She's been the first lady. She didn't even want to do it the first time. She's not obligated to, like, the country would cease to exist if you don't have a hyper-involved first lady.
Right. So this would be a first for a first lady, and this shows that she dislikes the Washington political scene so much, dislikes being under the microscope, her and Barron. And she said that she's going to go back to D.C. for ceremonial responsibilities, like state dinners and other special events, but she won't be there full time. It also shows that maybe she's distancing herself even more from Donald.
Well, I just don't think she ever wanted this thing to begin with. And your life is not, and again, any happily married couple, I don't know how happily they're married, but any couple who's been married for a long time. Yes, thank you. Will tell you that you're not obligated to follow the dream of your spouse or the quest of your spouse 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Well, she's entitled to have her hobbies and her things that she enjoys. And, there are plenty of people, whether it's, Ivanka Trump or whoever, who can carry out some of those duties. I just don't see this as being a big deal at all. I wouldn't see it being a big deal if it happened to a Democrat. You're not obligated. Your life doesn't have to be first spouse. You can live the life that you want to live and still be supportive of your spouse and not engage in it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
It might actually be better for her to not be there all the time. It does say she's not going to have a standard platform that many first ladies have had over the years, and what is expected from her or future first ladies going forward. Like, is there now going to be an opening? You mentioned Ivanka for a first host. Well, like, if Melania's going to go back for some ceremonial responsibilities, but she won't be there all the time, are they in need of that? Because I would like to submit my resume.
Would you like
for
in on that?
First host?
Well, and you would be very good at that. You're very friendly. Now, but wasn't there a president, though, who was not married, and it was his niece?
Buchanan.
Was it Buchanan?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's happened before. We created this sort of societal norm where, other than Kennedy and maybe Clinton, we spent the first couple hundred years of it being these older, distinguished men who had these long-standing marriages of support where it was like we're a team together and we've done this, and it was the Barbara Bushes and Rosalind Carters.
Well, and the Clintons took it all the way.
Well, right, but I mean they were kind of younger, and
buy one get two.
You're right, but she was super into it. She wanted that. She craved the power even more than he did. In a weird way, I think he was kind of a puppet of her. But that's my point: is we sort of created this, and you even got it. Obviously, went back with then you had the Bushes again, and it was the traditional marriage between Laura and George W. Bush, and then even the Obamas. Whatever you want to think about them, Michelle Obama, had goals and initiatives and things she wanted to accomplish, and was willing to use the White House to further those. There's nothing wrong with doing it one way. There's nothing wrong with it doing another. Melania Trump is a brilliant woman. She speaks all those languages. She's very, very smart, very intelligent. But she's not obligated to be an errand boy for Donald Trump or anyone else for 4 years.
Right, and I think people are accepting of that now. Whereas before it may have been, wait, what? The First Lady's not going to live in the White House with the kids and do the whole thing? Yeah, she's like, no, we're beyond that, kids. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. And yesterday there was a rally at the State House and some people showed up. We're going to talk about that. And also, big change coming to Hooters. Yeah, the restaurant.
Well, this is going to be quite the segment we got coming up.
It's on the way from 93 WIBC.
Close your eyes and picture it. The warm sun on your face. The sound of waves lapping against the shore. What if I told you that feeling of summer relaxation could be yours all year round? At Howard Bailey Financial, we specialize in retirement planning that lets you embrace that summer state of mind every day. Imagine knowing that your future is secure. With our expert advisors, we'll craft a personalized retirement plan tailored to your dreams. Whether it's traveling the world or pursuing your passions, we'll ensure that your retirement is as carefree and fulfilling as a relaxing summer afternoon. Embrace a summer state of mind and text SUMMER to 888-494-5004 to download our complimentary retirement toolkit and experience your retirement planning with confidence.
This endorsement was not provided by a client of Howard Bailey. This individual was compensated for this endorsement. For more information, visit howardbailey.com/TSY.
ABC Tonight. It's the music event of summer.
What's up, CMA fans?
With superstar performances by Lainey Wilson, Luke Bryan, Kelsey Ballerini, Keith Urban, Thomas Rhett, Shabuzi, Cody Johnson. Plus, epic collaborations including Keith Urban with Lainey Wilson, Big and Rich with Hardy, and Post Malone featuring Blake Shelton. Jelly Roll and Ashley McBride host CMA Fest. Tonight, 8/7 Central on ABC and stream next day on Hulu.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell is known for flavors that push the boundaries of taste. Our oatmeal cream pie ice cream is an oatmeal-flavored ice cream with hints of brown sugar mixed with soft oatmeal cookies and a vanilla icing swirl. We've set the bar sky high for deliciousness.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Clearing some air. Speaking of, the radar's clear for now, but it's partly cloudy. 78 on Monument Circle. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. With some tension still lingering between the White House and Israel, the president's top diplomat is there meeting with his counterparts. Fox's Jared Halpern.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken updated Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant on diplomatic efforts to advance security, governance, and reconstruction of Gaza in a post-conflict period, a State Department spokesman says. Blinken and Gallant met in Washington yesterday. Gallant is also meeting with other top Biden administration officials, including Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has reached a plea deal with the U.S. Justice Department that will see him go free after spending 5 years in a British prison. According to unsealed court documents, Assange will plead guilty to a single felony count of conspiring to unlawfully obtain and disseminate classified information. He's getting credit for time served in the UK. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Mixed again to start the day. The Dow was down 66 to 39,778. The NASDAQ is up 86 to 19,837. And the S&P 500 is up 12 to 5,529. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
There was a rally yesterday at the State House. It was a pro-abortion rally, and guess who was there? The guy who has said that his entire life he's been pro-life and now wants to be lieutenant governor for the Democrats, so he changed his tune and showed up and walked around the State House with protesters.
Okay, so there's so many things to touch on with this. First of all, it is amazing to me. I saw old Jenny from the block, Jennifer McCormick, put out this video about they always refer to it as reproductive rights.
Yeah.
Let me be as clear, as specific as I possibly can. Sucking the brains out of a defenseless fetus is not a reproductive right. It's murder.
In fact, abortion is the exact opposite of reproduction.
That's correct. Somebody, I always love these people because like the Libertarian Party and the people who are libertarians are very interesting in the fact that they're all over the map on every issue, which is why they can't coalesce around a platform, which is why they can't, in many ways, be successful. But there was one of these, I think it was a libertarian person, was posting about this, and the person, I thought you liked freedom. And my response was, yes, I like the freedom to live.
Yes.
And my public school education leads me to believe that sucking the brains out of a defenseless fetus would be in contrast with the freedom to live. And for the Democrat Party, abortion is a religion for many of these people. I mean, it is their religion. It is the thing that gets them up in the morning. It is the thing that drives them. It is the thing that motivates them. They are more passionate about abortion and being able to murder defenseless fetuses. And look, we're not talking about life of the mother, health of the mother. We're talking about many of these Democrats, including people that are running for public office, because if they won't tell you what restrictions they want to put on it, it means they don't want any restrictions. And whether it's Jenny from the block or Destiny Wells, these people will not tell you what restrictions they want on abortion, which means they don't want any, which means from conception to live birth, they are in favor of being able to kill a living, breathing, functioning baby inside the mother's womb. And that is what drives them. That is what these people are passionate about it, Casey. It is disgusting.
It's a bunch of people who are fortunate enough not to have been aborted, advocating for the rights of abortions for others. Okay, so Terry Gooden was there, and he is Jennifer McCormick's pick for lieutenant governor. However, when he was in the State House, said for years how he was pro-life until he was the choice to be her lieutenant governor, and now he's at marches, he's at rallies, he's saying that he is pro-abortion.
Well, and this is the other part of the equation, which is, this is actually true on both sides of the aisle. We're talking about how gross the Democrats are on abortion. And whatever we think of the Republicans and the abuse and mismanagement of taxpayer money and the flaunting of that the Republicans have done over the past 7-8 years. Republicans have been very good on the party of life here in Indiana. They've been very, very aggressive on protecting life, and they do deserve credit for that. But the other side of this equation, and you see this with politicians on both sides of the aisle, is the willingness to shape shift on the opportunity for power. Very few people have deeply held, unwavering beliefs that you can take them to the bank no matter what position they're in or what position could potentially be in front of them. And the fact that it's a sign of a weak person. And it comes back to my longstanding theory that most of the people in politics, in the elected positions, are the nerds of youth, right? It's the people who got stuffed into lockers and were social outcasts and were pointed and laughed at. And politics has become their way, elected office has become their way to be the cool kid in their mind, or the get even, or look, ma, I made it type of thing. And the power becomes the thing that defines them. The office becomes the thing that defines them. And when you have that, you will cave on just about anything to either move to the next thing or hold on to the thing. And that is why we have such a crisis of leadership in this country, is that these people stand for nothing and they can be held to nothing because the thing that they actually crave more than anything is the power.
It is a total lack of conviction in what you stood for years.
Right.
Okay, let's talk about what's going on with Hooters. You know Hooters, known for the waitresses with the orange shorts. They are the latest restaurant chain to announce.
Is that what they're known
closed.
for, Casey? The waitresses with the orange shorts?
Well, you're going to tell me they're known for their wings? Are they known for their bike nights?
Well, I just thought they were known for something else. I was going to say, if you stopped the average person on Monument Circle and said, what is Hooters known for? I don't think orange shorts would have been if we were playing what's the family game show where the name 5 things.
Family Feud.
Family Feud. I don't think that
Survey
would.
says.
I don't think orange shorts would have been number 1. But you go ahead. Go on.
What would you describe it as?
Well,
if you say Hooters girl, you know exactly what comes to mind.
The popular area, I think, would be what would be the most people would probably say.
Okay, so that restaurant,
yes,
Hooters, they're closing many of their locations.
Is there a reason for this?
Well, I think it's showing that there's a crisis within the restaurant industry.
Well, so that's
highlighting how even places with the iconic brand, the Hooters girl, they're not immune to the rising costs and shifting dynamic of consumer habits.
Well, the Biden economy is so bad and inflation is so bad, and we have seen this, whether it was Red Lobster, we've seen there was another prominent mid-tier dining establishment that's in trouble. You've seen like O'Charlie's that have been closing, and now you're seeing it even with places like Hooters, where it's just like, hey, the cost of everything is so great. And then by the time you factor in the cost of the food itself and the products itself, and then paying the employees and the rent, because, obviously there's buildings, all of these things, it's just really daggone hard to make any money at anything anymore.
Well, I think it also shows that, even in states like they're closing in Florida, Kentucky, Rhode Island, Texas, and Virginia. But even in places like Florida and Texas, they've got soaring rent, and as you mentioned, the food prices as well. So is it time for them to branch out and just become a brand rather than a restaurant? I mean, they introduced like this frozen food line. They're known for the Hooters girl.
Yeah.
Should they just shutter the restaurant business and get into another game?
I have another theory on this, Casey. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
And this is the sort of reason people come to this show, is this sort of deep insight. I maintain that the thing that was the allure of Hooters in the modern era, where access to the thing that was the allure to Hooters at any given moment has largely taken the, I don't know, for lack of a better term, thrill, I guess, out of going to Hooters.
Because you can see that sort of dress anywhere.
Right, that's correct. You can see much less dress than that anywhere.
True.
So what is from the male mind, what is the point in paying the premium for that? Because let's face it, you're overpaying for wings or chicken or whatever they serve there. I don't know if I've ever been to a Hooters, Casey.
I've been there for a bike night.
Was this when you were in Florida?
It was in South Bend, actually.
Really?
Yeah, in the parking lot. I never went in.
I don't want to say I haven't, but I don't ever recall actually having, and this is, I'm sure, shocking our audience, but I don't ever recall having ever been to a Hooters in my entire life.
So the draw of the Hooters girl wasn't a big enough pull for you?
I just don't think that, no. No, look, I know when I'm being sold a bill of goods, and I know when someone's genuinely interested, Casey. And I know when I'm paying for interest. And I just think that in this modern era, I think 20 years ago, yes, 25 years ago, yes. I just think now it's in a weird way, it's almost comparable to the strip club, right? Strip clubs have kind of gone, in many cases, the way of the dinosaur, because we've talked about this before, the cam access and everything else that's out there.
Right.
I just don't think that business model is going to work anymore for people.
And that's what I'm thinking. Like, is it time for them to partner with OnlyFans and make it its own different thing?
Oh, come on,
You're not going there for the wings and the French fries and the beer.
Right.
You're going there for the
what
Hooters
would they?
girls.
Okay, let's play this out in your mind, because
So
now
branch out
I'm
and just
totally
be the
enthralled.
Hooter girls.
What would a Hooters OnlyFans partnership look like to you, Casey? Why don't you explain that to our audience? Because you just threw that out there, and I have no idea what that would look like.
I'm sure most of the Hooters girls already have OnlyFans.
It's
already.
I mean, if they don't by
it's
now,
already
they're
done.
missing
They're
out.
doing it on their own.
Here was the thing that that ruined it for me years ago, and I am in a much different position in my life now than I was years ago. But I once engaged in a social interaction with someone who was in the Hooters, not magazine, the calendar.
Yeah.
And it shocked me to learn this person did not actually work at the Hooters.
She was just a model for them.
Right.
Okay.
And I don't think there was actually a requirement that you had to be a Hooters waitress, or I believe they would also find people who they might like insert for a brief period of time as an air quote waitress or girl or whatever they were called, and in order to make it work for the calendar or whatever, so that they couldn't be disproved. But it was the equivalent of finding a ringer in golf to play in your scramble. Yeah, this guy, he was on the Corn Ferry Tour for a while. Now he's playing in our Chamber of Commerce outing. And that's basically what they were doing to these like girls who were working at Hooters. They'd see these girls in these catalogs going, well, they would create like serious self-esteem issues because, well, I don't look like Cindy. Well, Cindy doesn't even really work here. Cindy's married to some, billionaire hedge fund manager.
So was the Hooters girl interested in you, or were you interested in her because she looked like a Hooters girl?
Well, let's face it, this was probably 15 years ago. So this was before I either A, had the ability to use the pickup line, I could shut off your parents' water, or I had the fame and fortune of working at WIBC.
I can't believe that worked.
It was great.
Uh-huh.
Women loved it. But the fame and fortune of working here. So I was really getting by on looks, charm, and charisma back then, Casey.
Okay.
And that'll only take you so far. Usually those people have a type, and it's called money.
Your wallet wasn't big enough.
And eventually they're going to figure that out.
And that's why it ended. Okay.
But I did find that interesting that it was like, really? Oh, yeah. A bunch of these people, they either are hired to work here for the calendar or whatever. And maybe people started to figure that out.
So the traditional restaurant model currently under siege, as you pointed out, with the Red Lobster and now Hooters, and not even the allure of the Hooters girls is enough to keep the doors open in this economic climate. But is this going to be a permanent thing?
Oh, totally.
You think that all of these restaurants are going to become empty buildings scattered across the country?
I think these mid-tier restaurants, many of them are in big trouble because, like we've talked about, and it's really the divide of what's going on in this country, which is not great, which is the squeezing out of the middle class. The rich are getting richer. The rich, and this is no indictment of these sorts of restaurants, but Ruth Chris St. Elmo's, those people always be able to afford to go there. They're going to go there. It's atmosphere. It's his status. It's
a special occasion place.
Inflation, 5%, 10%, 20%. It really doesn't matter to these people. The people who are in the middle class are being squeezed out of that, and now McDonald's or Arby's or Wendy's is becoming a pricey purchase experience, and they're no longer in that mid-tier. And now you're left with this sort of weird thing where who's left to be those people who frequent those restaurants, and you can only special, for lack of a better term, if you're a Chili's or whatever, because Chili's is still running that $10 special, you can only do so much of that, and it's only so much smoke and mirrors, and if the inflation thing doesn't get under control, you can't pull it off forever.
I'm wondering if this is a cultural shift of what people are going to do, because, back in the 80s, we had the malls, right, and the mall rats, and then when things like Amazon... You don't need to go to the brick and mortar. It can be delivered to your house. And now everybody's redesigning the malls or coming up with new things to put in the building of the mall. And then you have the same thing with the movies, right? you can get anything you want on streaming. You've got your Netflix, your Amazon Prime. So less people are going to the movies. Now, this is an economic thing. Less people are going to these restaurants. And are they going to come back if inflation goes down, or will this remain?
Well, that's the question, is how do they come back? But then, we say this, but then I drive through Avon. I had to go to Costco the other day, and it's just one restaurant after another, and they're still building them. So I don't know if it's business model. I mean, some of these restaurants they're building, what's the new hot chicken chain place?
The Cane's?
Maybe that's it. One of those is going up. So it seems like these places
Raising
that are
Cane's.
trendy that you can go into but are still sit down and somewhat reasonably priced. It's all reasonable, right? Or relative, right? But I don't see any way that they're going to refill, an O'Charlie's. I mean, all these O'Charlie's that went down or went under, like, what are you going to put in there?
Right. So is it that Hooters has reached its pinnacle and maybe it's the course of its life?
Biden is so bad he broke the Hooters.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, Julian Assange enters a plea deal with the United States. His nightmare is over. Let us discuss after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
First Financial Bank. Get 4.6% APY on money market accounts and high rates on CDs. Stop into your local First Financial Bank to start growing your money today. What are you waiting for? It's easy. Take advantage of our great rates. APY equals annual percentage yield. $25,000 minimum deposit required for money market. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC. Visit bankatfirst.com for details.
First! Downtown Indy's Fourth Fest, presented by UA Local 440 on the Indiana War Memorial Grounds. Featuring a street party from 6 to 10 with live music, a new kids zone, and great local food, beer, and ice cream. Followed by fireworks with a spectacular grand finale thanks to Indiana 529. The street party is brought to you by Indiana Donor Network and Donate Life Indiana. One organ and tissue donor can save 8 lives and heal 75 more. Sign up at donatelifeindiana.org and tell your family about your decision. More at downtownindy.org.
Community Health Network cares for your heart health. From heart scans and vascular screenings to complex heart procedures, you can count on our expert team for the highest quality cardiovascular care, when and where you need it. Your path to a healthy heart starts with knowing your risk. Schedule a heart scan or vascular screening today. Visit ecommunity.com/heart. Community Health Network. Exceptional care. Simply delivered.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. Seminars are Thursday, July 25th at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, July 27th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites Indianapolis Northeast in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register now at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Remember the big bad wolf? Michaelis does. Because around here, all that huffing and puffing and blowing houses down stuff comes in the form of rain, wind, and hail. And no matter what your structure is made of, Michaelis is made of first responders and craftsmen who can restore it to better than new condition. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Kinnett, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you pickleball curious? If you are, we have an event for you. It's going to be a fun time. It's the inaugural WIBC The Fan Pickleball Tournament. This is presented by Franciscan Health. It's going to be August 24th and 25th at Farmers Bank Fieldhouse in Lebanon.
Hey, maybe the mayor of Lebanon will be there.
Would you like to invite him to put a team together? He can register at WIBC.com.
Oh, my goodness. So we're teaming up with the Fan, and there's only a certain amount of spots that are going to be available. And so there'll be WIBC personalities will be out there. Fan personalities will be out there. I am probably banned from the city of Lebanon, so I might not be able to be out there. There's probably some sort of shoot on site order. But Casey might be out there. Heck, Kevin might be out there.
I'm actually looking for a partner.
Are you?
So I don't know
Nigel
who's going to be
plays.
on my team.
He's probably really good.
Yeah, I thought about recruiting Nigel for my team.
So if you want to be a part of this, the public is invited. You get a team, even if you are just yourself. We'll pair you up with people, and you get all the information right at WIBC.com. Is that right?
There's going to be divisions for men, women, mixed doubles, and the skill levels run from 3.0 to 5.0. I don't know how to judge. I would be 3.0.
Is that really? That's the low level.
think that's
I love
the
that they didn't name you.
level.
They didn't make you a 1. It's like, hey, you're a 3.
They'll make me captain. No. And there's going to be slots for competitive players and those people that love the game and those that are just pickleball curious, which means you want to learn more. I love how our boss, David Wood, he sent out a link to a YouTube video with this for those of us. Me who have never done the pickleball, don't have any idea. It's like an instruction video.
Well, you know why.
You're completely clueless, Casey. Study up.
You know why we're doing this. He likes pickleball.
I know he does.
He's really into pickleball.
He's probably really good.
Yeah,
He probably wants to be nowhere near his team.
Maybe he'll play in this. And maybe we'll have to see if we can arrange this, that maybe on one of the courts, if you're not into pickleball, maybe you can just watch me and Matt Gentry scream at each other for a couple hours. How about that?
That's like the on the sidelines. That's the entertainment. Rather than have a band, we'll have Rob Kendall yelling at Matt Gentry. There's going to be cocktails there from Deep Eddy Vodka, by the way.
How exciting.
So go to WIBC.com if you would like to play or learn more. Okay, so big game last night.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew this was going on, but you had the Stanley Cup Finals last night, Game 7.
I knew because of your husband.
Okay.
So, I mean, I knew it was going on, but it was like out of sight, out of mind. I got a kid. I got a million things going on. And then I saw your husband tweet out that he was enthralled with the series. I thought, oh shoot, that's actually it was on ABC. It was like I have the little antenna, so I get that.
I have that channel.
I turned that on, and man, that was incredible. So this series, it was all centered around everybody was talking about because the Oilers girl who showed her chestular area earlier in the playoffs, and she's now become the newest, along with the one girl that I don't know
which girl, Rob?
The girl, no.
No.
Can I say that on the air?
Please, what are you talking about?
Are we allowed to say that?
I think so.
The girl.
Yeah.
You know the thing.
Yeah.
The girl who gave the interview and talked about the
I think you could say
no,
that.
Can't really?
I don't know.
I'm not risking it.
Okay.
It's like I've always said this about me going down if I'm going to get arrested. Like, you're not going to get me on a DUI. I'm not giving a freebie out like that. If I'm going down on this radio station, I'm not going on that. I'm not going down describing what this girl was.
We'll ask Hammer when he comes in.
That's right. We'll let Hammer say it. He'll say about anything. Anyway, this Oilers girl who showed her chestular area during the game and kind of become a new star or whatever. And so everybody was paying attention to hockey now.
Yeah.
The Oilers had lost the first 3 games to the Florida Panthers. They then won the next 3 games, and now this was the Game 7, and it was a great game. It went all the way down to the very end. It was 2-1 was the final. Yep. What a game, and I thank your husband for this. I would have totally forgotten about it.
So besides the Oilers girl being the most memorable thing to come out of that hockey game, the Edmonton's Connor McDavid, he secured the most valuable player trophy, which is interesting because he was on the losing team.
Do you know anything about hockey?
Well, I do know the very first hockey game that I ever went to was the Red Wings, and I think
Because you lived in Michigan.
Yeah, Hockey Town, and they won 8-0.
Wow, that's a
and
lot.
I thought, this is the most fabulous game ever. And then I found out they're not all that high scoring. Oh, yeah, we spent a lot of time going to see Notre Dame play.
That's right, because you lived in South Bend, and Notre Dame has an incredible college hockey team. They're always one of the big, top-ranked teams. Remember hockey we talked about this before, when Gretzky went to the Kings, and then there was this huge surge of hockey in the early 90s with the Mighty Ducks movies, and now it's kind of back to this mostly niche. And I say this as a golf fan. Golf is kind of in the same boat. It's this mostly niche sport where there's a very hardcore, finite group of fans. But I'll tell you what, last night, and again, your husband, making
Game 7, you made it just in time.
Just in time. And my wife was watching this going, do we watch hockey in this house?
Do we watch hockey?
Do tonight, sister.
We do tonight. Game 7. And, of course, it was the Florida Panthers who won. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and I'm a big fan of Zerorez because their platinum cleaning systems are truly the best you can find. If you've been waiting for the deal from Zerorez, it's here, it's now. 3 rooms of carpet cleaning starting at $119. Wow! Those Zerorez systems will safely and effectively remove all the deeply embedded dirt, dander, and pollen and nasty bacteria in your carpets and floors. The reason I know this is because of the patented ZR Water difference. ZR Water uses no soap, leaves no residue, and there are no harsh chemicals because they just aren't needed to get things really clean. That's why Zerorez is my go-to carpet cleaning company, because I know they can really get rid of all of the uglies. Now mention WIBC and get the June bonus of 3 rooms of carpet cleaning starting at $119, which is the lowest offer I've seen to Zerorezify your home. Don't miss this one. Call 317-388-5141. Book things online at ZerorezIndy.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Did somebody say free diamond bracelet? That's right. Diamonds Direct is expanding upon their best offer yet. Make any purchase this month and receive a free diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. That's right. Any engagement ring, any diamond necklace, any timepiece. Purchase any item valued at $10,000 or more and receive a stunning diamond tennis bracelet at no extra cost. Every purchase of $10,000 or more qualifies. So hurry into Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet ends June 30th. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here, letting you know that when you need plumbing help, call who I call, my friends at Hope Plumbing. Not only are they're experts in their field who respect the true value of customer service, they also love giving back to this community, which is evident in their referral program. If you refer a friend, Hope Plumbing will give you a $50 gift card to a local restaurant. Great plumbing and supporting local restaurants. What more could you ask for? Visit hopeplumbing.com or give them a call at 641-HOPE.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the threats from some storms that'll hit central Indiana later. Plus, John Herrick reports on the fatal stabbing that happened outside of a strip mall last week. And another Hoosier is headed to Paris. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News Radio at the top of the hour. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
He's about to take off.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Julian Assange will soon leave Bangkok, where the plane he's taking to a U.S. territory stopped to refuel. Assange will go to court in the Northern Mariana Islands, where it's already past midnight tomorrow, to end his years-long legal battle.
The WikiLeaks founder has fought extradition to the U.S. over the publication of tens of thousands of classified documents as far back as 2009. Assange has agreed to plead guilty to conspiracy under the Espionage Act and is expected to return to his home country of Australia after a judge signs off on the deal.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. The prison sentence in Assange's plea deal will be wiped out by credit he'll be given for time served in jail in England while trying to avoid prosecution. The International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for 2 more Russian officials accused of targeting civilians in the war in Ukraine as the U.S. gets ready to provide more military aid to Ukraine today. There's new controversy in Israel as the war against Hamas rages on in Gaza.
A unanimous ruling by Israel's highest court says the military must begin drafting ultra-Orthodox men for compulsory service, a ruling that effectively ends a decades-long policy of exempting religious Jews from mandatory enlistment of the country's secular Jewish majority. That policy has grown more controversial during the 8-month war in Gaza. The Israeli Defense Forces are calling up tens of thousands of soldiers and reservists.
Fox's Jared Halpern. The Surgeon General has declared gun violence a public health crisis. Dr. Vivek Murthy's advisory calls for safer gun storage, consumer protections like warning labels, expanded background checks on sales, and a ban on so-called assault weapons. More rain forecast for Minnesota, which could lead to more flooding. The Rapidan Dam near Mankato is on the brink of collapse. Flooding's already blamed for 2 deaths in South Dakota and Iowa.
Around 24 counties across Iowa are under states of emergency. Hundreds of homes inundated with water. In Rock Valley, Iowa, officials activated tornado sirens to help trigger evacuations as floodwaters rose quickly.
Max Gordon, America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Another round later on. Radar is clear for now. It is 79 and partly cloudy downtown. I'm Kurt Darling for Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Storms have already been hitting some parts of Indiana this morning. You can expect more.
They'll become more numerous during the afternoon hours and maybe into early evening, and then we're looking at more widespread storms again overnight tonight into Wednesday.
Chad Swain with the National Weather Service. A teenager killed in a hit-and-run crash in Clinton County. Police say Reese East, who is from Rossville, was found lying on the side of US 421 yesterday. The 16-year-old is said to have been hit by a car. Investigators are now looking for whoever hit him. What started out as a petty argument turned into something that changed a lot of people's lives in Indy. John Herrick explains.
On Monday afternoon, Estefan Filsmagre was charged with attempted murder along with aggravated battery and battery because police say he's the one responsible for stabbing multiple people outside Miami's Garden restaurant and bar on Indy's northwest side. A security guard tried to stop everything only to get stabbed in the chest.
The person who was trying to serve as a peacemaker, the person who did a good job of getting people out of the restaurant and really trying to de-escalate the situation is the person who ends up most seriously injured.
Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears said Filsmagre was also badly injured in the incident. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
World records broken both in the water and in the seats of Lucas Oil Stadium during last week's U.S. Olympic swimming trials.
Indy showed up. We set the world record for the largest swim meet attendance twice.
Patrick Talty with the Indiana Sports Corps. WWE announcing Monday that they are committing 3 major pay-per-views to Indy over the next 8 years. They include next year's Royal Rumble as well as SummerSlam and WrestleMania. Another Hoosier is heading to the Olympics, this time in track and field. Cole Hocker, a graduate of Cathedral, won the 1,500 meters in the at the Olympic trials in Oregon yesterday and in a new trials record as well. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Right now, you get bonus days to save during Window Nation's semi-annual sale now through June 30th. Getting quality, affordable windows is a really big deal. They've extended their sale, giving you 50% off all windows along with 0% interest for 5 years. Plus, when you schedule an estimate now, you'll get a bonus 10% off. Are your old windows ready to handle the summer heat? If you're tired of paying high utility bills for air conditioning this summer, your windows aren't efficient, and that's a big deal.
And with Window Nation's semi-annual sale,
you can replace your windows and save a big deal too. Hurry, this is only for this month. Get 50% off all windows plus 0% interest for 5 years. You also get bonus savings if you schedule your appointment today. This sale ends June 30th, so time is a factor. No obligation in-home estimates with the pros at Window Nation. Schedule it right now. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, June 25th. It's 5 minutes after 10. He's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels, and we're glad you're listening this morning.
Casey, we have to talk about this email I got from a listener the other day.
Yeah, this is a good example of assessments and what's going on with the property tax issues.
Okay, so obviously, look, number one issue overwhelmingly in these Republican Senate surveys was property taxes. Nobody right now, other than the Republican candidate for lieutenant governor, has put forth a single solitary plan. We'll get into that in a second. But the whole property tax thing, for lack of a better term, is completely out of control. It's utterly ridiculous. The people in the assessor's offices will tell you it's ridiculous. And nobody in the Indiana General Assembly wants to do anything about it because it's hard.
Yeah, it is hard, and they've been doing this task force for, 2 years now?
Yeah. Now, we'll get to that in a second because I think we may be making some headway with Braun, and we'll talk about that in a second. But first, I wanted to read this email we got because this is how ridiculous this whole property tax thing is, because the excuse, and it's the most ridiculous excuse in the world, that you get taxed on something you're not monetizing. But the excuse on raising your taxes every year based on assessment is, well, you should be happy about this. You could sell your home for this.
It's valued at more money now.
All right, so we went back and forth on should I read this as love mail or hate mail, because it's nice that this person wrote and told us this story, but I hate this story.
Yeah.
So which one do I do? Do I do it as a love mail or do I do it as a hate mail?
I think you need to do it as hate mail because the topic of the email...
We should hate it, right?
We should hate it because it's about property tax and assessment.
All right, this comes from Donald. I'm not going to name the bank that he went to. I'm going to try to keep this as anonymous as I can because the guy was nice enough to write. I know this guy has written before. He's a legitimate person. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. My home is 35 years old. Admittedly, it needs a lot of fixing up. I'm 72 and not able to do for myself what needs to be done. I decided I could leverage the significantly increased, quote, value of my home in Perry Township, Marion County. I submitted my online application to a large national bank for a home loan as a way to fund necessary repairs. A representative called me back later in the day. I really just wanted to know what range of interest rates might be available. Well, he started talking about refinancing and the fees that would entail. I stopped him to explain I really was just interested in a line of credit so I could fund repairs over time. Quote, "We do not offer line of credit anymore," he replied. He went on to explain that this large national bank dropped that and several other, quote, high-risk products back in 2021 as a direct response to COVID. His suggestion was to apply again in January, as they might re-implement the line of credit product then. But who paints the exterior of their house in the middle of winter? This is utter insanity. The county assessor assures me I have, quote, increased value in my home, which has caused my property taxes to be raised twice what it was in 2008. When I try to access the increase in value, I can't because of the economic disaster caused by the pandemic. I feel like the Geico fisherman is dangling money in my face, laughing and saying, "Oh, you almost got it." I read this and I thought, you know what? This is the most perfect thing ever, because the whole weak sauce excuse about why you should be happy about your home's value going up, paying no attention to the fact that you're paying double or triple the property taxes, is you've got increased value which you can sell your home for. Well, that's previously been how people would access lines of credit,
right,
and home equity loans and things like that.
But that's not available now.
But now the guy's telling him no.
Yeah.
So the guy's getting screwed on both ends.
Right.
Look, it is a crisis point in the state. Nobody will do anything about it. And I have said I'm giving Braun until August 1st to come up with a plan on this. I'm going to make my decision who I support based on are there actual concrete plans from Mike Braun. We've said from the beginning, just because Micah Beckwith becomes the lieutenant governor nominee doesn't mean I'm blindly going to vote for some guy who I don't think will fix issues in our state. And there's no reason Mike Braun can't fix issues in our state. And the number one issue is property taxes. And maybe this is some daylight on this. I was told by a very reliable source that last night at one of those big swanky fundraisers, sort of ones they wouldn't even let us in the door,
right,
that Mike Braun told the audience that he was going to make property tax reform a top priority of his next administration.
What? Wait a minute.
That's a good start, right? That's not the whole thing.
He said he was going to make it a top priority of his administration.
Told that by a very reliable source last night that Mike Braun told a large group of people that. Now, that's not good enough because these people have shown you can't trust them. You can't just take their word for it. You can't give them an IOU. So he's got until August 1st to tell us what that reform is going to be, what that plan is going to be. But at least it appears, Casey, elections do have consequences. Mike Braun wasn't even willing to mention the words property taxes a week and a half ago. And now, hey, it's going to be one of the top priorities, one of the things we're going to address right away. So it's not August 1st. Hopefully he'll have a plan well before August 1st. But don't kid yourself. One of the main reasons Mike Braun is now making property tax reform a top priority is because Micah Beckwith was elected lieutenant governor who ran on property taxes.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and I'll just play devil's advocate for a second. You can say something is your top priority, but it's the actual execution. I mean, I can say, hey, I want to lose weight. It's a top priority. But unless I actually get on the treadmill, put the fork down, and start lifting weights, nothing's going to happen.
That's right. That's why Mike Braun has to. And I thought August 1 was a fair deadline because that's basically a month and a half from when Micah became lieutenant governor. So that gives those guys a month and a half to work together and figure out what their priorities are going to be. Then I'm giving him until August 1st to come out and say, here is my plan with property taxes. I will urge the Senate to make this Senate Bill 1. And or if he wants to emanate it from the House, if he feels that's better, however he wants to do that. But for him to publicly state, here's the plan, and it is the top priority of my administration, and then we'll judge it. Because the great thing is, Casey, and don't kid yourself, there is someone to judge it against, and Braun recognizes, I think, or his people recognize smartly, he cannot lose all the people that Holcomb lost to Rainwater in 2020 because he won't get the Democrats that Holcomb got to vote for him because Braun is more conservative than Holcomb. The Democrats do not like Braun the way they liked Holcomb, and I think they recognize if they lose the Rainwater voters again, they'll probably lose the election.
Okay, well, at least he's got that on his talking points. It's making it to the agenda, it seems like.
Yeah, we'll see.
Will something actually happen? To be determined. Rainwater, in the meantime, keeps putting out his plan for property tax reform.
Somebody might have suggested to
somebody
him
encouraging him to do that
in a recent conversation. That'd be a good idea to do.
He said, as your governor, Donald Rainwater's plan is to cap property taxes at 1% of the purchase price of your home for no more than 7 years.
That's a great idea because, first of all, the whole property tax idea is ridiculous anyway. The idea that the government, the school corporation or the town who had nothing to do with you buying your home, they didn't help you pay for it. They didn't write you a check. They didn't make the down payment. The idea that they have a forever lien on your property is gross. But at the very least, if you're going to let them in the door, there should be stability for the homeowner and a sunset on when you're done forever paying for these people who had nothing to do with you buying your house on something you're not monetizing. That's what doesn't make any sense about any of this, is that people keep getting punished and excessively punished based on not making money off of the asset.
So let me ask you this, because I believe it was last week you had said something along the lines of, hey, freeze it for 2 years.
Yeah.
That way the state will know how much money they have coming in for 2 years, and homeowners will know what they're going to have to pay for 2 years. At least everybody can set budgets.
Yeah.
It's not going to keep increasing. If Mike Braun were to come out and say, hey, this is what we're going to do, we're going to make it a top priority, we're going to freeze it for the next 2 years while we work it out. Is that plan enough?
Yeah, because I think it stops the bleeding. It stops the bleeding, and it will give those guys 2 years to come up with a plan, and we'll find out if the Republican Party actually cares. I want it to stop. That is my top priority, is to make it stop so that people who are 80 years old are not seeing their property taxes double. That's crazy. But he doesn't have to. He can come up with a plan that will actually fix it. He doesn't have to just pause it. He's the incoming governor with Republican supermajorities of the same party. The only way he can not be the incoming governor if he loses all the Republicans to rainwater again, which I think they've recognized. The only way they can probably lose those people is if they don't have a plan on property taxes. I think like all the dominoes are starting to move in a certain direction. And that's why the Micah Beckwith thing was so important, was a clear message to these guys. We're not screwing around. And if you don't, at least acquiesce on one thing. Think of all the crap you guys pull. One thing we're asking for, and you can acquiesce on that, and then we still won't like you, but we'll leave you alone. Like, isn't that worth it? Like, at least for a little while, we will leave you alone. There's a million different, there's a million different ways to skin a cat. There's a million different ways they can solve this. All right, we got to take a break because we got a big guest coming up next.
Yep, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
A lot of interesting things on Facebook Marketplace. I found myself a fluoroscope, described as an antique foot x-ray measuring machine. So you can look at the foot and then get on the right kind of shoes. This is a totally weird thing to have in your house. It's $500 for the antique foot x-ray machine known as a fluoroscope.
What do I know about foot machines? Nothing.
Don't tell us. It's a morning show. You save that for Hammer and Nigel.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Planes, trains, automobiles, and motorcycles. If you've spent a lot of time working or playing around loud vehicles, you may have trouble hearing on the telephone. Get back in gear with Relay Indiana, providing telephone accessibility to the hard of hearing. Relay Indiana allows hearing-impaired callers to have normal phone conversations through voice recognition technology. And there's loaned equipment for those who qualify. Add clarity back in your phone conversations. Get the CapTel caption telephone from Relay Indiana. Visit RelayIndiana.com.
With Tire Discounter's new TD Chat BS, we can detect deception over the phone. Let's call a typical tire store.
Yellow, cheapo tire where we bolt them on for less.
Yes, I need tires and lubricant for my vehicle.
Great! Come on in, we'll slap on some new tires.
And what about the lubricant exchange?
Oh, yeah! We send you over to Ollie's Oil for that. They're right down the road.
Deception. Destination is 5.2 miles away.
Well, I'll be.
Also, 6 out of 10 cars need alignment. The probability is that I am one of them.
Well, just travel on over to Alignments or Us.
Calculating. Time for 2 additional trips.
You mean you want to do tires, oil change, and alignment all in one fell swoop?
Oh, I observe that Tire Discounters, the home of free alignment, is close by.
Ugh, Tire Discounters.
And they are experts at oil changes, brakes, shocks, and...
I'm losing you.
Hello? I'm sorry. Your system has crashed.
Stop in today for Savor the Summer Savings.
Downtown Indy's Fourth Fest, presented by UA Local 440 on the Indiana War Memorial Grounds. Featuring a street party from 6 to 10 with live music, a new kids zone, and great local food, beer, and ice cream. Followed by fireworks with a spectacular grand finale thanks to Indiana 529. The street party is brought to you by Indiana Donor Network and Donate Life Indiana. One organ and tissue donor can save 8 lives and heal 75 more. Sign up at donatelifeindiana.org and tell your family about your decision. More at downtownindy.org.
Up to 50% off on all of our windows and doors, plus 12 months, no payments, no interest. It's our great granddaddy of a sale.
Their names are Jane, Mark, Ruth, and Danny. They were abducted from the Burger Chef in Speedway on November 17th, 1978. Their bodies were found 2 days later in a wooded area of Johnson County. It is True Crime Tuesday with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Yeah, every Tuesday we delve into some true crime story at this time. We generally try to center it around something that happened in central Indiana or the state of Indiana. And if you were to talk about most famous crime events in the history of the state of Indiana, certainly in the greater Indianapolis area, the Burger Chef murders would be at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it may be Tony Kinnett and the Burger Chef murders, 1A, 1B. And there is a new film out about this event. It's called The Speedway Murders. Mm-hmm. It's available now. It's out. It's on Apple TV, Prime Video, on demand. And the directors for this really, really interesting piece on one of the most significant events in the history of Central Indiana, Luke Renderman and Adam Camion, join us now on the WIBC hotline. So, Luke, I'll start with you. Why did you guys decide to put together this documentary? What captivated you about the Burger Chef murders?
We originally found it on an online forum, and between the two of us just became obsessed with it, just the details, the tragic events of it, the time period, and then ended up going over, making a trip to Speedway and meeting with family and former detectives, and, you know, just seeing how tragic it was firsthand. You know, it got its hooks into us.
You know, I think that's interesting that this captivated you guys from a world away. You guys it's from Australia, correct?
Yeah.
And so obviously we know all about it here. It's, you know, it's just a central part. If you grew up a Hoosier, you know about this. But I think that's interesting. So when you came to Speedway from half a world away, what did you find and why did you say, hey, this is something we can make a film about?
Well, first of all, what we found was a case that was unsolved after 40 years. The first time we came over was for the 40th anniversary of the crime. What we also found were a group of people, you know, desperate for answers, really. And they were incredibly open to us taking a really deep dive to see if it would be possible to shed some light on it, because, you know, at the time it was a 40-year-old cold case. There wasn't a lot of movement. And as I say, people were really desperate for answers.
Luke Renderman and Adam Camion, directors and writers of the Speedway Murders, join us. So what was the most surprising or unexpected thing that you discovered during your research in making this documentary?
I think just how compelling, if you sort of look at the various theories in isolation, there's 4 or 5 of them that we look at in the film that on the face of it are incredibly compelling. And if I were to relay those theories to you in isolation, it would be reasonable for you to think, oh, okay, well, that's what happened. But in fact, when you start to look deeper, there are things that don't add up. I think one of the challenges for us, there were a lot of jurisdictions that looked at this crime back in the day, and a lot of information was siloed. So the challenge for us was to collate all that information and kind of put it into a single narrative. And in doing that, we were able to, uncover some new evidence, which we would feature in the film.
The Speedway Murders, it's in select theaters. It's going to be on Apple TV, Prime Video, and on demand. Was this a tough sell to these various platforms? How long did it take to get interest in these platforms to be able to make this documentary and film?
The film took about 6 years. We started in around 2017, 2018, gathering research, ending up in Indianapolis, as Adam said, for the 40th anniversary, which was November 2018. It gained momentum over time, and people were always really, I guess, were interested in the details of the case. So, yeah, I mean, it took time to get it to those platforms, but in the end, they were all really excited about it.
So it's the killers have never been brought to justice, and I want to ask you actually something about the story and the investigation. It's been reported that the police investigation was botched from the second it was discovered that the employees were gone. So how did you guys approach interviewing people and getting your information or talking to key figures associated with the murders?
We were very lucky to have access to an exceptional lawman in retired ISP Detective Jim Kramer. He, when we started talking to people, it wasn't long before we got onto him, and he was really helpful in giving us kind of investigative techniques that are different to the techniques you would use, say, as a journalist. So we tried very hard to not to lead witnesses. It's a tricky thing to do, obviously. So far after the fact, memory becomes a little bit subjective. And as you say, the investigation, unfortunately, was botched from the get-go. Mm-hmm. When it was revealed that the kids were missing at midnight on November 17, 18, the police turn up to the restaurant, they take a look around, and they say, oh, kids have just, the money was missing from the till. So the police just say, oh, kids have taken the money to go and buy beer or go and party. The restaurant was open the next morning. It was cleaned. People came in for breakfast, and, whatever evidence, whatever forensic evidence there might have been there was lost.
Do you guys think that this will ever get solved?
We're hopeful. We went into it initially thinking, that, for us with fresh eyes that we could solve it. And I think we certainly bring new light to it in the film. The difficulty, obviously, is DNA and forensics, and whether they have enough to pinpoint somebody. But, speaking to relatives of the victims, seeing how real and raw it is for them, we are very hopeful that it can be solved.
A couple minutes left with Luke Renderman and Adam Camion. They are the directors of the Speedway Murders, all about the Burger Chef murders. It's now available in select theaters, Apple TV, Prime Video, and on demand everywhere. I don't want you guys to spoil it for us, but you immersed yourself, as you said, for basically 6 years in this. Do you guys walk out with your own prevailing theory? I don't want you to tell us what it is because we want people to watch the film. But do you guys in the film, do you have a prevailing theory about what happened that night?
Look, we tried really hard just to be led by the evidence. I think too many investigators before us went into this with an idea that they wanted to be true and sort of pursue a particular theory at the exclusion of all else. Ultimately, we've collated the best evidence we can. We present it to the audience, and it's up to them to make up their own mind. Interestingly, depending on the day, our view changes, and there's always new information coming out. But what we present in the film, in the sort of final stanza, is I think it's fair to say our best guess.
What do you guys hope that audiences are going to take away after watching the documentary, and how has the response been?
The response has been really good. We screened it the other night for families and people involved with the case and also with the film. the response has been really good. I mean, I guess the takeaway is that, potentially somebody sitting somewhere watches it and, remembers something or knows something and comes forward. That would be the biggest hope out of it. But also, that we hope that we've collated it in a way where it's informative and people, have a new interest in the case.
Luke Renderman, Adam Kamian, the film is The Speedway Murders, documentary on the Burger Chef murders, one of the most significant and kind of still lives in really infamy here in central Indiana. Get it at select theaters, Apple TV, Prime Video, and on demand everywhere. It's out now. Guys, thank you for a few moments, and thanks for doing this film. It's very important.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. And coming up next, we hear from you and your voicemails.
Will you be the one? This summer, Shepherd Community will spend hundreds of hours with 200 kids, learning, adventuring, and experiencing life-transforming relationships. Help us make a difference for one child. For just $28, you can impact a child for one day at Shepherd. One moment, one relationship can make a difference in the life of a child. You can be the one. Visit shepherdcommunity.org/be the one to give today. That's shepherdcommunity.org/be the one.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Doing it again. Radar's clear for now. Partly cloudy, 81 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Lawmakers may try to press charges against the Attorney General again. Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
Republican Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna of Florida plans to bring up a resolution this week that would hold Attorney General Garland in inherent contempt, which would force Garland to stand trial before the House, and if found guilty, would lead to his arrest by the Sergeant-at-Arms. Inherent contempt differs from the criminal contempt resolution already passed by the House, which left it up to the Justice Department to pursue criminal charges against the AG. The DOJ responded by saying it would not prosecute Garland. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
The Surgeon General says gun violence in the U.S. is a public health crisis and requires the collective commitment of the nation to stop it. Vivek Murthy's advisory today is the first time a Surgeon General has used the platform to decry firearm violence and the consequences it has on survivors and mental health, he says. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Guys, it's summer and time to do more outdoors. But if you're out of energy, lacking motivation, and mental focus, could be low testosterone. Low T affects millions of men and happens naturally. The solution? Testosterone replacement therapy at Low T Center. It all starts with a quick test and results are fast.
Take control of your health right now. The Low T Center is offering a free initial test. So if you're over 30, schedule a visit at lowtcenter.com today. This offer is good until July 6th. lowtcenter.com. Terms and conditions apply.
As a caregiver, managing your loved one's health can at times be overwhelming. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. In a moment, I'll share 3 tips to help you manage your loved one's medical care effectively.
At Cardon Senior Living Communities, you'll find our teams share a commitment to enhancing the lifestyle and well-being of the people we serve every day at every stage of life.
Tip number 1, keep a list of all medications, dosages, and schedules to ensure your loved one is taking their medication correctly. Second, attend doctor's appointments with your loved one when you're able. And finally, stay organized by keeping forms, notes, and other important documents in one secure place. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access the library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indie Decorative Concrete patio. Indie Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatment at 317-559-PAIN.
Oh, here we go with the Tuesday edition of your voicemails. We turn the program over to you and hear what's on your mind at 317-684-8444. It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So we've got the debate coming up Thursday night. And Rob, we often lament on how could they ever let Biden be the nominee. But it seems like, that's the plan so far. And here's a phone call about that.
You guys were talking and, saying how it looks like the Democrats are going to let Biden be the nominee and all that kind of stuff. And again, the reason they're going to let Biden be the nominee and the reason they're really not that worried about it is because they're going to cheat. They're going to steal the blue swing states just like they did in 2020.
Well, it worked once before.
Right.
I mean, look, there's cheating, and then there's creating an environment by which, the problem for Trump is he never definitively proved anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's had 4 years, and he hasn't definitively proved anything. And you and I, as logical, rational people, can look at what happened in a place like Pennsylvania and say, that's insane that you are still allowing ballots just to be thrown at people and have no idea who's filling them out or how they're coming back or how they're being, essentially tallied in the process of getting them to where they want to go. It's hard to argue based on the fact. Look, Ben Stein, who is by no means in the Trump camp, who is about as establishment Republican as you can possibly get statistically, which was his job. That's how he made his money. That's what he became a known quantity for before he became an actor, et cetera, he was a numbers guy and a brilliant, economist. And he said statistically what happened that night in 2020, the election, was statistically impossible. He went to bed because statistically there's no way this guy can lose the presidency. And then you wake up the next day and he's like, ooh, that really shouldn't be happening. And it did, right? It happened in all the swing states all at the same time, and that's really interesting. But then the onus is on the Republicans. What have you done the past 4 years to prevent it from happening again?
Exactly. Well, we've got the rerun. And actually, Thursday, you're going to have the day off, and Jim is going to be here, and we talked about it last night. I think we're just going to run season 1 of the debate, get everybody caught up. It's like, in case you missed last season.
Yeah. Well, so Jim is your husband, and I love Jim, and I think you guys will do a great job. And then I'll be back Friday to judge you based on your performance.
Well, and judge the debate that's going to happen Thursday night. All right, you've got somebody who's celebrating a birthday coming up.
I have someone that's celebrating a birthday.
Yes, somebody in your family.
Yes, my daughter is turning 1 this week.
Mm-hmm. And you have long said that actually the birthday should be a celebration for the mom.
That's correct. The kid didn't do any work. I didn't do any work. You didn't do any work. Kevin didn't do any work. Olivia didn't do any work. We moved like 3 feet.
Mm-hmm.
God said, hey, it's time to come out. We came out. The mom.
Yeah.
Let's face it. The dad did about 10 seconds worth of work. The mom.
Did all the work?
Did all the work. The mom had to carry the kid, feed the kid, go to all the doctor's appointments, have all the uncomforts, birth the kid. So the birthday party should be for the person who did all the work.
Yeah. Okay.
The mom.
Somebody disagrees with you on this.
Hey, Mr. Bullock here. Love you, Casey. Love you, Kevin. Rob. Well, I don't know what shirt. I'll probably buy both shirts. But still, I just have a comment on the whole celebrating the mom on a birthday. That's ridiculous. First of all, mothers get Mother's Day every year, and the celebration of a birthday is not it's because the person has survived on this ridiculous planet another year. That's what it's about. They did do something. Bob always says, well, they've done nothing except eat and sleep and whatever, and the mom did everything. The mom did something one day. Well, 9 months. But,
wait. Stop that.
Wow.
Did he just say the mom did something one day?
Yeah, he sure did. And then he did correct himself and said 9 months.
I've got this, okay?
Oh, perfect. Yes, thank you.
You sit this one out,
Thank you very
Rob.
much. Yes, thank you.
Let's talk about what moms do for their children. They feed them, they bathe them, they dress them, they provide health care and safety, they give them love and affection, they listen, they encourage, they comfort, they help with homework, they teach life skills. They're also the moral and ethical guidance of their life. They read to them, they clean, they do laundry, they do the shopping, many times they do the budgeting, they make appointments, they help with extracurricular activities, they plan the family calendar, they plan play dates, they schedule family time, they're involved in their community, they set the rules, they discipline, they conflict resolute. They are the role model, they help with self-care, they continue their education. Many times these mothers are employed and they're working on their own career advancement. They plan special events and celebrations like the child's birthday, holidays, school events. They also advocate for their child. They protect their child. Guess what? Being a mother is not a one-day affair. It's not even a 9-month affair. It is a duty that remains for life.
Yeah, having watched the birthing process, and I tell my daughter this all the time, no one has seen more of your life than me because I am the one person who actually physically saw you come in from the moment, the first second one of your hairs popped into this world. I am the one person who saw every single second of it. And having experienced that whole thing, yeah, moms get the Mother's Day. They deserve 364 days.
Amen to that, Rob Kendall. All right, let's move on. We've got, we asked the question, what have Democrats brought to the table?
Yeah.
Why would you vote for them?
Oh, yeah.
And this is our big fan.
Oh.
He loves to call every day and tell us how wrong we are. He's got an answer.
So, Kendall, you're asking what Democrats have to bring to the table for the last 3 years. How about the CHIPS Act, which has brought hundreds of thousands of jobs back to America? How about lower costs on medications, which helps quite a few people? And then there's the list of things that we go on and on about. But
go for it.
Those are just the two main things that Democrats have to bring to the table. They're bringing jobs back. They're making medication cheaper anyway. I don't know about food, gas, and everything else, which really the president has no effect on anyway, or very little. So there you go. That's the two main things I'd be bringing up.
So first of all, I love that we're on in the background. Buddy, when you call the radio station, you got to turn the radio down. That's an amateur move. Second of all, so in 4 years, you're hanging your hat on the CHIPS Act, which was a giveaway of billions upon billions of printed dollars, which made everything more expensive. I don't know about food and gas. That's how food and gas gets more expensive, idiot. And it was a giveaway of printed money to some of the largest, most powerful corporations, again, in the world. We have seen the state of Indiana now getting in on that as well, giving away our money from poor and middle-class people to some of these mega corporations. I don't know what medication this guy shops for. A lot of it's still really expensive.
If it's available.
Thank you. Casey, you are far more qualified to talk about the cost of expensive medication than I am.
Do you know that the majority of penicillin is made in China?
Yeah, thank you.
It's one of the
but even if you gave
most prescribed medicines in this country.
Even if you gave this guy those two things, even if you were like, okay, you can that's it? 4 years, that's what you got? Some medication might be more cheaper, and
is that why we're right down the street from one of the largest global companies in the world?
People are funny.
Because medication's so much cheaper.
People amuse me, Casey. Hey, we've got to have an extended segment with Hammer when we come back.
Okay.
Because he went to the wrestling last night.
Yeah.
And he got stuck next to an individual that sparked a conundrum that we both agreed we have had over many, many years in going to sporting events. I asked you about this.
Yep.
You said you have had the same issue. Kevin has said he had the same issue. So I think we need adequate time to discuss Hammer's big trip to the wrestling and the person he was forced to sit next to.
It's coming up from 93 WIBC.
Tonight on the Tony Kinnett Cast, the world continues to shovel gunpowder into the keg as a galaxy far, far away goes all in on LGBTQ pronouns. Delightful. Tune in at 7 p.m. right here or the podcast anytime.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-9336. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-444-9336. 800-444-9336.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Did somebody say free diamond bracelet? That's right. Diamonds Direct is expanding upon their best offer yet. Make any purchase this month and receive a free diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. That's right. Any engagement ring, any diamond necklace, any timepiece. Purchase any item valued at $10,000 or more and receive a stunning diamond tennis bracelet at no extra cost. Every purchase of $10,000 or more qualifies. So hurry into Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet ends June 30th. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
First Financial Bank. Get 4.6% APY on money market accounts and high rates on CDs. Stop into your local First Financial Bank to start growing your money today. What are you waiting for? It's easy. Take advantage of our great rates. APY equals annual percentage yield. $25,000 minimum deposit required for money market. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC. Visit bankatfirst.com for details.
First! Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today. Today.
Come, my lady, come, my lady. You're my butterfly, sugar baby. Shifty Shellshock, the front man from Crazy Town, he passed away at age 49.
He's dead, as Donald Trump would say, dead.
I'd totally forgotten about this guy. This song was huge. What was this, like 2000?
99?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, 99,
Was
2000.
it really?
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
He died in his residence yesterday. The cause hasn't been released.
Now, he's been pretty outspoken about having substance abuse issues his whole life. He's talked about it. So, man, you hate to, just assume what happened here.
Sure.
But 49 years old. And, man, that song I played on ZPL when I was working over there every 5 minutes. And it's weird we're talking about this because I was telling Nige yesterday, the songs that I played ad nauseum, like they were on 15 times an hour. Uncle Cracker's Follow Me. Let's see, what else? Maroon 5, when they first came out.
I was going to say Maroon 5 was a huge band that I would play on ZPL.
And I've said this before. This is where Hammer and I met. I was the producer for the Indians on XNT. And, of course, in a baseball game, you got like 30 minutes during an inning where there's nothing to do. So I'd go down there and watch Hammer. And Hammer became one of the heroes of my youth because I was, 18, 19 years old, and he would get these. I mean, it was all women, obviously, listen to ZPL. And so they would just call. And this was obviously, there was no social media back then, but they would request songs, and the things he would ask for in exchange to play. I was like, you really want to hear Christina Aguilera that bad, lady? I mean, come on. And I said, that's who I want to be when I grow up.
Aren't there certain songs you hear and it just feels like that era of WZPL? You
Oh,
just
yeah.
Go, that was that.
Like
radio
that
station.
mom rock.
Yes,
kinda
that was
era.
it exactly.
That's
It was
exactly
like
what it was.
top 40, but with guitar.
Now, this guy that just passed away from Crazy Town, Shifty Shell Rock.
Shell Shock.
Shell Shock, whatever. Had another hit. Now, it wasn't with his band Crazy Town, but do you know what the other hit was, Rob?
No idea.
Casey, we were talking about this. You remember?
Oh, my
Starry-Eyed Surprise.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dance all night to this DJ.
There's another forgotten. That was 99. Is that right?
Yeah.
That was on
99.
some movie, and I can't remember exactly what movie it was. Like a fun movie where they had that song playing in the background, but I can't remember exactly what it is. Maybe the YouTube chat can help.
Can we talk about the guy you had to sit next to last night at the wrestling?
Oh, yeah, Chris Christie? Yeah. We can absolutely do that.
So you went to the wrestles, was, as my wife would say, the wrestles was at the Gainbridge.
Yes.
The Raw. It was
Monday Night Raw.
And you took your kids and some of their friends and
Yeah, we had a good time. And so we, sat pretty low, right? We're about 5 rows from the ring.
Wow.
And that's where they've got the chairs that are, set out.
Yeah.
So you can sit down there and watch the show.
Is the choreographing more obvious when you're up close? Because, on TV, they cut camera angles and everything. Is it more obvious when you're that close to the ring?
No, I was looking for that. So here's what I've noticed. Like, there's such a big difference between the wrestling that, like, my old producer Megamondo used to do to what these guys do. Like, there's really not, it's just muscle memory, I think.
Sure.
You don't see them talk to each other. They really don't. It's just, a flowing thing. So I was actually really impressed with that. But what I was not impressed with was the 350, 400-pound behemoth that was sitting next to me, whose ass was halfway over into my seat. Because, again, these are chairs, right? So his big rear end was halfway into my seat, which caused a domino effect to go down the line.
Right.
Everybody else had to, get less
Spill
and less
over.
of their chair. By the time we got down to my youngest son, Jacob, he was sitting on a stranger's lap almost.
Okay, so there's a couple things with this. One, we've talked about before, the Rassles does attract some of the booger eaters and Dungeon and Dragon player people, and you kind of should know that going in. However, when you pay for the primo seat, you should get the primo experience.
Exactly, and that's what we were thinking, right? But no, my God, we sat next to this dude, and he stunk too. And I feel like I can rip on fat people because I'm part of the community.
But you're not like this.
No. This dude, seriously, was like Chris Christie-like. And it'd be one thing if he was sympathetic a little bit.
Sure.
It's like, hey man, I'm sorry, these seats are really small. I'm doing the best I can.
He wasn't aware.
I'd almost feel bad for him. Throughout the evening, he'd kind of pivot a little bit and put one cheek
Maybe
a
he
little
was
bit more
farting
next
on
to
you.
me, Casey. It's almost like he was trying to mark his territory here.
He was encroaching on your space.
Right. And I tried to push back a little bit at one point. But
Who's got the stronger hip check?
I've lost 35 pounds
Yeah.
since August, so I don't have the cushion
Yeah,
to
you
match
don't have
his
that weight.
pushing.
So then it sparked a So it sparked a conversation Hammer and I were having about, it seems like you always get stuck next to that sort of individual. You never get stuck next to the Oilers chick.
Right.
That just never ever seems to happen.
I go to tons of ball games. When I was younger, went tons of concerts. Used to work promotions, so I'd be there every night. And you're right. Every experience I've had that has involved a fan has never been the crazy plane lady.
Right.
It's never been the hot Oilers chick. It's never been I don't know if anybody watched the College World Series last night. There was a large-chested Tennessee fan who was jumping up and down for joy because the Vols were on their way to winning a natty. It's always the big fat bastard that I got sitting, chair and a half, at Raw.
Casey, have you ever sat next to, in
Someone
your case,
hot?
it would be a man who you would say, wow, I'm so glad that, what a lucky stroke of luck with these seats.
See, you're cute to think that. I'm the hot chick that guys like you wish to sit by. But I will see your fat guy and raise you a vomit. I was at the Notre Dame U of M game.
Was Nigel there?
And some guy threw up next to me. He pre-gamed a little too hard. So that smelled as well.
Yeah, I haven't had vomit guy. I've just had guy that smells and is fat for 3.5 hours.
So you've never had any well-assembled people you never sat next to?
I mean, like, I'm sure I've been to concerts where if you're out in the lawn or something, there's hot chicks and all that kind of stuff. But there's never been a moment where I've got to my assigned seat at a Pacers game, and lo and behold, Kate Upton is next to me.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Jumping up and down,
Did you sit next
cheering.
to Jokic's girlfriend one time?
Yeah.
Or wife?
His wife sat behind her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and their young baby, and I think it wasn't one of his big mean brothers that always get into fights at the games. It was some other family member.
And then you had some horrific thing happen to you going to the game, right?
So we went to the B-Dubs downtown, like right across the street from where we're at, right? And again, I got all teenage boys with me, so that's an easy place to go eat. Well, first of all, there's only 2 servers working, and that sucks. And this dude that we had, man, he was awesome. He was working his backside off. They called him in because I guess they only had one.
Oh, jeez.
And again, crazy sold-out event at the field house, and my man's running around, so we tipped him really well. But the thing that I did not expect is that they now have a code you have to type in to use the bathroom at the downtown B-Dubs.
Okay.
And the reason that that's in place is because too many ODs and drug deals and unsupervised kids are going in there doing nonsense.
Yeah.
And now, as ridiculous as it may sound, you have to type in a code on the door just to go pee at the B-Dubs.
But then there will be people who will mock us when we're saying, hey, things aren't real great downtown. It's kind of a scary, awful place. It's so bad you have to put a code in to go to the bathroom because there's so many shenanigans that go on.
When you're a patron in the restaurant, it's not like you're just walking
and you have to be after like 6 o'clock with somebody that's 18 or older. So imagine being a high school kid that can drive, but you can't go have wings after 8 o'clock because it's so violent.
What's coming up this afternoon?
Big Nige and I are going to have a lot of fun. Caller roulette, baby.
Nice. Thanks, Hammer. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
If you're struggling with weight and frustrated with dieting each and every year, Mark Patrick Seminars can help.
After this hypnosis, I want to eat good food.
Since August, I can honestly say I have not had one potato chip.
It was life-changing for me.
And I don't think about desserts like I used to.
Bridget, how much have you lost now?
I had lost a total of 83 pounds.
Holy cow.
It's easy, it's fun, very relaxing, and very successful.
And I would just say go for it.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick Seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings, late night eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Seminar Thursday, July 25th at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, July 27th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites Indianapolis Northeast in Noblesville. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration's 30 minutes before. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. School's out. What are you going to do with the stacks of your kids' A-plus papers, artwork, and jerseys for the year? Probably box them up and store it all in an out-of-sight space, like your basement, right? Your basement needs to be safe and dry. If it's showing any problem signs like condensation, wet floors and walls, musty smells, mold, and rot, Indiana Foundation Service can help. These problem signs can be an indicator that your home might be due for basement waterproofing. From wall anchors to vapor barriers and sump pumps to dehumidifiers, the experts from Indiana Foundation Service can help. That includes encapsulating your crawl space too, and making it a safe space for your valuable belongings and added storage. Just visit IndianaFoundation.com for a free inspection and no-pressure quote today. Indiana Foundation Service. There's a reason they are the trusted local experts.
Indiana Foundation Service. Reliability from the ground up.
Wealth-changing question. Has your advisor created a portfolio based only on your age and risk tolerance? That's simply not good enough. Your money deserves better, and so do you. At Creative Planning, our private wealth managers learn about you first. And then they create a customized plan and portfolio by partnering with our in-house money managers, accountants, and attorneys. Don't settle for a standard portfolio. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-653-1188. 800-653-1188.
Advent is now open in Indianapolis and Avon. Find out more at adventknows.com.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Up to 50% off on all of our windows and doors, plus 12 months, no payments, no interest. It's our great granddaddy of a sale.
Coming up in 2 minutes, storms are heading towards central Indiana. When they'll get here, plus the thing that has this former teacher in jail in Kokomo, listener discretion advised, and the goal for training camp, at least for Indianapolis Colts general manager Chris Ballard. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
A final hearing into the toxic train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I want to recognize the significant impact that this derailment has had.
National Transportation Safety Board Chair Jennifer Homendy.
A year and a half later, my family are still experiencing health impacts that our doctors don't have explanations for.
A lot of people in East Palestine still frustrated.
We still have the EPA telling us everything's fine. It's not fine. We know it's not fine.
The crash was likely caused by an overheated wheel bearing on one of the train cars that wasn't detected by sensors along the railway until it was too late. Today, we're also expecting the agency to detail the controversial decision to vent and burn the toxic chemicals in several of the train cars, which forced evacuations and sent a huge plume of smoke over the town while spreading vinyl chloride for thousands of miles across the country. The NTSB now says that did not need to happen and that there was not an imminent risk of tank cars exploding.
Fox's Garrett Tenney in East Palestine, Ohio. Julian Assange's plane is taken off from Bangkok, taking the WikiLeaks founder to the Northern Mariana Islands, where Assange will plead guilty in court in that American territory to an espionage charge for posting U.S. military secrets online years ago. Assange will get time already served in jail in England and be set free. It's the last day of a series of hearings in the Trump classified documents case.
We expect Trump's defense team to argue that the evidence taken by the FBI during that search of Mar-a-Lago really isn't done in a lawful way. Now, Trump's attorneys will likely push Judge Eileen Cannon to throw out all the evidence uncovered.
Fox's Jeff Paul outside the court in Florida. The former president also claims the special counsel was illegally appointed. Jack Smith's trying to get a gag order imposed to limit Trump claims Smith says endanger law enforcement. An update to the economy. A gauge of consumer confidence showed a slight decline this month from May. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Where the risk is greatest, radar is clear, but storms are on the way. Partly cloudy at 83 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Strong winds could damage some areas around Indiana with that severe weather expected. Ryan Hedrick reports.
Thunderstorms could happen at any moment today, and if that's the case, you'll want to get inside and move away from the windows.
Severe winds start at 58 miles per hour. Trees could fall, or parts of trees, and they could fall on your house and cause damage, or if you're outside especially, things blowing around or the tree could get you.
Chad Swain from the National Weather Service says more severe weather could happen on Wednesday. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Grooming his students. At least that's the accusation against a former high school teacher in Kokomo. Charles Jensen taught at Taylor High School until 2011 when he was terminated. Now, state police say former students have come forward accusing him of paying students for sexual acts and even for them to pee or ejaculate into bottles. Jensen has now been arrested. The Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania are three of the major WWE pay-per-views that are going to be coming to Indianapolis over the next 8 years. Indiana Sports Corp President Patrick Talty says Indy will reap a lot of rewards from them.
These events are going to probably they'll be in excess of over $300 million of economic impact.
Talking to WIBC's Hammer and Nigel, the Royal Rumble will be in Indy in February. The Indianapolis native Cole Hawker is heading to the Olympics. The track and field runner won the 1,500 meters at the U.S. Olympic Trials in Eugene, Oregon last night. Hawker running a new trials record of 3:30.59. That's also the fastest time in the U.S. this year, putting him in serious contention for a medal in Paris. Training camp starts in less than a month for the Indianapolis Colts, and it's an important time to figure some things out for the 53-man roster.
Look, these are young men. They make mistakes. If they're good teammates and they love to play, we'll help them grow. Now, if they're selfish, then that's a lost cause in my mind.
Colts General Manager Chris Ballard. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Baseball games and road trips. That's why I love the summer. That's why I'm glad I'm a AAA Hoosier Motor Club member, because they help deliver on both. AAA is now the official insurance partner of the Indianapolis Indians and sponsor their fabulous Friday night fireworks at Victory Field.
Going to Victory Field is always a winner. And did you know you can win with your insurance thanks to AAA? Yes, the same organization that delivers roadside assistance plus travel discounts and planning is also a full-service independent insurance agency. A AAA agent will shop several different companies on your behalf to get you the best price on your auto, home, or life insurance. Special discounts are available when bundling home and auto, as well as savings specific to AAA members. So do yourself a favor. Join AAA today and take advantage of their insurance offerings. Visit AAA.com to find and get connected with an insurance agent near you.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, June 25th. It's 5 minutes after 11. That's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. And yesterday, and this is how quickly things change, Donald Trump's VP shortlist was down to 3 contenders. This coming from the Daily Mail. They had North Dakota's Governor Doug Burgum on the list, also Senator from Ohio, J.D. Vance, and also Senator from Florida, Marco Rubio.
All of those are pretty underwhelming, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we did a segment on it yesterday that there's 3 ways you can go about picking a vice president. You can pick somebody that you think will give you a state. You can pick somebody that you think will give you a voting block, or you can simply say, if that person doesn't exist, I will simply pick somebody who will do no harm, who will deliver the message well, and people will be able to see as president of the United States should something happen to me.
I don't understand the Marco Rubio one because there's possible residency issues.
Well,
with
that's why I've never taken much stock in any of this. I mean, Rubio doesn't bring anything to the table that would warrant the drama that would come with that, although it's Trump, so maybe that's deliberately why he's doing it, to create more drama. But it's like, there's nobody out there that has been even rumored to be a part of the equation that is a needle mover in any shape, form, or fashion, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with making just a safe, reliable, boring, type of choice. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it may be good for Trump. But in terms of interest or speculation, there's nobody that you're like, man, we're so excited to talk about that person, because it's not like, man, Tucker Carlson is believed to be in the mix here, kid. There's none of these people are interesting.
Okay, so his VP pick, it could be a wild card. It could either galvanize his base or just add another layer of unpredictability. Now, that was yesterday, coming from the Daily Mail. Now, this morning, late-breaking news, several unconfirmed reports are now circulating that indicate Trump's pick for VP is Vivek Ramaswamy.
Well, again,
more drama.
Well, but that's why these people are changing their mind as often as they're changing their underwear, and it's fun for us to sit here and speculate, and the people that are traveling down the road, thank you for those of you wherever you're listening from to speculate and have fun with it. The speculation on it's like the NFL draft. You know, my favorite sporting event of the year is the NFL draft, and the lead up, and you're reading, especially the final 3 or so weeks before the draft. Well, this team is trying to trade up to this point, and this team's a lock for this guy. Oh, but if he's not there, they're gonna all of that. A whole bunch of it ends up being total malarkey and doesn't happen or come to fruition because it's just speculation. And it's people in the sports media getting fed stories to try to distract teams from what the teams are actually doing. The actual picks end up being somewhat underwhelming. After 3 hours, you're like, well, I guess we'll do this again next year.
Talking about it is more fun than the reality of it.
That's the vice presidential pick. The pick hasn't moved a needle since 1964. When Johnson delivered Texas, or 1960, when Johnson delivered Texas for Kennedy. They're normally boring, underwhelming picks. I mean, look at the people that have been picked: Joe Biden, Mike Pence, Al Gore, Dick Cheney, Dan Quayle, George H.W. Bush. I mean, these people are just like, the only time there's been a vice presidential pick who was a center part of the conversation was Sarah Palin in 2008. Now, ultimately, McCain didn't win because he was a terrible candidate, but she energized people. She got people fired up. She got people talking, but normally it doesn't matter. And if you're going to pick Ramaswamy, that's fine. My question to Trump would be, what exactly does he give you that you feel you need in order to win the presidency?
Right. He's not even holding office currently, so it's not like he could bring an entire state with him.
Yeah, he doesn't give you a state. He doesn't give you a voting block. It's not like there's a whole host of Indian Americans who are going to be running to vote for Donald Trump who previously weren't, if indeed Ramaswamy is the pick. And so
it does bring polarization with him, because a lot of people like Ramaswamy. A lot of people think that he's a used car salesman.
Well, right. So that brings us to our third block, which is a safe choice who is a good messenger. Ramaswamy would no doubt be a great messenger for Donald Trump. He would probably be really good in the debates. He would probably be infinitely better than Doug Burgum. But you're right, Casey. There's so much of Ramaswamy that reminds you of the kid who used to sell stuff out of his trunk in the high school parking lot. I mean, I saw him at that Hamilton County Lincoln Day dinner that I went to,
that's right.
It was a month or so ago. He's a great speaker. There's no doubt he's a great messenger. He's a compelling dude. He's, got a good-looking wife, good family, very successful. But there is this sort of skeezy side of him that he comes off as skeezy, and you just wonder, is what that brings with him, would his ability to be an unwaveringly strong messenger for Trump, would it eclipse that?
A lot of people question when he talks, is he saying what he truly believes, or is he saying what he thinks you want to hear?
He does come off, and again, he's a phenomenal speaker. He's a great messenger. You do want to hear him when he speaks, but there is a part of him that seems somewhat unreliable in terms of the validity of what he's saying.
Well, tomorrow we could come on the air and it'll be somebody different.
But
it could be Tim Scott tomorrow.
That's my point. Like, this is all just us having fun on the radio. My question would be, out there of the realistic choices, though, who's in play that would actually make a difference? He's not picking Tulsi Gabbard. I know that some people in the Republican Party that tend to have a libertarian streak want her. She's socially a disaster. She's totally unpalatable for the Republican Party. Yes, she's very good on medical freedom and anti-military intervention, but she would be a train wreck amongst the actual base of the Republican Party. He's not picking her. Tucker Carlson, not taking the pay cut. Tucker Carlson is not going to go from making $1 gajillion a year to whatever the vice president makes, $250,000 or whatever it is. Not doing it, not giving up the power, the influence, the whatever. So among the people that are realistic,
I wonder about Tim Scott. Can he bring the black vote with him?
I don't think he does. I don't think Trump is doing that himself.
Right.
Trump is the pocket of African American voters that Trump believes is in play. Trump is doing that himself, and you're seeing it happen. And he's organically, and the power and the energy of Donald Trump is making that happen. Tim Scott's a fine pick. He'd be a fine vice president. He would be totally safe. He'd be a good messenger. But you pick him because of that. You're not picking him because of a voting block. I don't see anybody out there that actually moves the needle all that much. I mean, nobody voted for Joe Biden because of Kamala Harris. There wasn't, even though she was a black woman. I mean, it doesn't matter. People vote for the president.
All right, let's talk about Hunter Biden. He is asking for a new trial in his federal gun case. He's claiming there was a procedural mistake, and his lawyers are arguing that the trial court didn't have the proper authority because of an official notification from the appeals court. It wasn't issued in time.
So, I mean... Look,
so his conviction could get thrown out based on a technicality.
Well, it could, but anybody's conviction could get thrown out on it. That's what they do. If you always watch, I love those Dateline NBC things, and it's always Fred is challenging on appeal that blah 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 happened after the guy's convicted at the end. It's pretty rare that convictions get overturned, especially in the federal court system. Look, anybody is entitled to the most vigorous of defenses possible. His attorney should be doing that. He did it. It's blatantly obvious he did it. He was dead on arrival on this one. And, it's his right to appeal it, obviously, and he doesn't want a felony conviction on his record, so he should offer the most vigorous defense possible. But it ain't going to change the fact he did it.
Yeah, he did it. And is this an attempt, though, to try and game the system, use loopholes to evade justice?
That's the way you should do it. I mean, right? I mean, the system is trying to operate against you. You should operate back against the system. I don't have any harsh feelings that he's trying to get out of something he was convicted of. Any person should be doing that, especially if they have the resources that he does. But everybody knows what he was. Everybody knows what he did. The bigger thing is what's looming out there now with the tax issue. And then obviously the biggest issue of all is this conduit in this office for sales scheme that he was clearly a part of, but hasn't been charged with yet. So I don't know. I mean, I'm a whole lot of things against Hunter Biden. I don't think defending yourself vigorously from a felony conviction or multiple felony convictions, I'm not going to hold that against you.
So it was expected. Well, there was overwhelming approval of his conviction in that gun possession case.
Well, there should be. He totally did it. I mean, there's no discussion about if he did it. He bought the gun. He put on the form he was not addicted to drugs. They had a preponderance, an overwhelming amount of evidence that clearly he was on drugs. He was addicted to drugs. They had eyewitness testimony. They had that laptop. If you're not approving of now, if you want to say, well, that's a crappy law, okay, I might not even argue on one of those, at least one of the things he was convicted on, it's a crappy law. But I didn't see anybody crying for Donald Trump when he got convicted on a bunch of, over a crappy law that they had to find. At least with Hunter Biden, it was there in black and white. The Trump conviction was on some federal law done by a local prosecutor.
So both parties, it doesn't matter on party lines, agreeing that the conviction was supposed to happen. So a rare moment of bipartisan agreement.
Maybe.
A rare moment. Hey, do you want to talk about what's going on with Bill Belichick?
Oh, yeah. This is very interesting. Do you have I bet you have a strong opinion on this. I bet you do.
I do. I don't know what they talk about.
That's your strong opinion?
Well.
So Bill Belichick, former coach of the New England Patriots, what is he, 70? What is he? He's got to be 72. Let's play Price is Right. Kev, what do you think Bill Belichick is?
I think he's older than that. Isn't he 78?
I'm saying, no. You going with 78? Go ahead.
74?
You'll say 74. I'm saying 72. You say 78. Price is Right rules. You go over, you lose. Bill Belichick is, how old is Bill Belichick? He's born in April 16th of 52. Oh, I'm right. 72 years old.
Okay.
Boom.
Well, he's dating a 23-year-old.
Good on him.
Yeah? You're okay with that?
What do I care? They're consenting adults.
Right? No discomfort? Significant age gap?
My theory has always been, and I had this for the time I was first becoming an adult. If you're eligible to be in a bar, then you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Then age is only a number. I mean, as long as everybody's eligible to do all of the things, then what business is it of mine how Bill Belichick spends his golden years?
Okay, so Mark Schlereth, he had some criticism. He said that Belichick was a pig, and he said it was a disgusting situation.
So Mark Schlereth is a former NFL lineman. He won several Super Bowls. He won a couple with the Redskins. I believe he won a couple with the Denver Broncos. With John Elway. And now he is, I think he works for Fox. Now he's with ESPN for a long time. Now he works for Fox.
Do you think that his disgust is more about his personal distaste than a genuine concern.
Why does anybody care?
He's saying Bill Belichick was 48 when she was born. Where is the commonality in their relationship other than his wallet?
But Mark Schlereth has every right to date whoever, or I think he's married, but be married to whoever he wants and have as many children as he wants and live his life however he wants. As long as Bill Belichick isn't doing anything illegal, which he's clearly not. She's way on the other side of it being illegal. Who cares? It's his. We have enough problems in this world, Casey, to worry about. I mean, we've talked about this. What is the when does the number stop being okay? There's 15 years difference between me and my wife. Is that wrong? Who's the decider? I mean, his is 48. That's more than 15. But what, is 16 wrong? If 15's okay, is 16 wrong? Is 20 wrong? If everybody's an adult and everybody can be in a bar and do all the things, then who cares what you do or who you do it with? That's between you and that person. I got enough things to worry about.
He likes the attention from a younger girl. She likes the attention from his wallet. I don't know. I look at it through the lens of she is the same age as my daughter. And if my daughter brought home a 72-year-old man, I would be like, whoa.
Okay, but that's different. That's different. You would be a mother of somebody involved in the relationship, right?
Yeah.
And you would want the best for. Is this best for your kid? No. Do we know what's probably going on here? Yes. But as far as I know, Mark Schlereth is not that woman's father.
No.
So what does he care?
Right? He just wants to get involved in the controversy.
You know, when my wife's mother first met me, she was like, dang, she's lucky to be with Rob. He's a hell of a guy.
There's a difference, though, between 15 years and nearly
But you see
50.
what I'm saying, right? Like,
yeah.
what is
the number?
What's the standard? And who gets to make that choice?
I guess the people in the relationship do.
Exactly. As long as you ain't breaking no laws, I don't care what you do.
It is Kendall Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
However you're getting around these days.
When you buy an electric vehicle, you go all the way across America on a single tank of gas.
Oh, wait, what?
You plug it in.
Plug in. Mornings and afternoons for Matt Bear Traffic.
To be on time.
Eastbound 465 from Keystone Avenue.
That's what this will do that.
Fuel up on the latest information.
Closure of Allisonville Road to eastbound 4.
We never run out of juice.
We'll help getting around.
On 93 WIBC.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TURN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-653-1188. 800-653-1188.
Up to 50% off on all of our windows and doors, plus 12 months, no payments, no interest. It's our great granddaddy of a sale.
Gilbert worked in retail and restaurant management for 14 years. It was time for a change.
I recognized where I was at was vulnerable to the whims of the economy.
Then he heard about My Computer Career. Gilbert went for it.
In as little as 7 months, I got all of my certifications at a fraction of a cost for college.
He became an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
I can work from anywhere. I have more time for my family as well.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
So the former state senator, Randy Head, is now the new chair of the Indiana Republican Party. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
It's always the same stuff and the same people, Casey. It is just, so the Randy Head was selected by the Central Committee. We've talked about the Central Committee before because, well, that's the committee old Jamie Knoll used to be on, by the most powerful Republicans in the state to become the new head of the Republican Party. And he replaces Anne Hathaway, who is as insider as you can get. And she replaced Kyle Hupfer, who was as insider as you can get. And this is why it matters. Because Mike Braun is going to be coming in, and you would hope, based on the fact that he has touted himself as an outsider and a change agent, or I'm a this, I'm a that you would have a much different agenda set forth than the disaster that we have seen for regular people in the state the past 7.5 years. I mean, if you are a rich person or a mega corporation, Eric Holcomb and the Republicans have been your best friend. If you are a regular person, if you're a middle-class person, if you're a person that works hard and is trying to raise your kids, there's a good chance you have been squeezed big time by the Indiana Republican Party. And you would hope that Braun would come in and say, we're not doing that anymore, because that's how he presents himself. However, the job of the party in many ways is to push the agenda of the governor. If the governor's of the same party, the job of the party is to push the agenda of the governor. And the fact that they went with Randy Head, who seems like a nice enough guy. I've talked to him a couple times in my life, and again, seems very nice. But he is a political insider. He was in the Indiana Senate for 10 or 11 years.
11 years.
Voted for all the crap that started in 2017 and the tax increases and the growth of government and all of that stuff. And then went to one of the largest, how do they describe him now? Let's see
Well,
here.
he's a lobbyist.
Well, okay. I was going to let you use that word. I was trying to be nice. And so it's like, okay, this guy is doing all the things that you would associate with a party insider, which I would expect from Holcomb. But if Braun and you're telling me you're going to be different, you're putting a guy in charge who appears to have been just fine with all of the things that previously happened before. So why would I believe, whether it's taxation, reform of government,
anything will change,
crony capitalism, that any of this is going to change if you're putting this? I mean, it's just, he's not in that tree of Hathaway, Hupfer, Holcomb, but he's kind
definitely
of supported
on the
all
inside.
the stuff, right?
Well, sure. He was the state legislature for 11 years, and he was on the committee that now elected him chair. He kind of built it, and now he's going to lead it.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe I'll be dead wrong, and Randy Head is going to be some uber mega change agent that is going to be demanding reforms in the Republican Party and is going to, but we just heard from Joseph Bortke yesterday about what a disaster that convention was and how they fought those delegates on all sorts of reforms that they wanted, which should be totally in line with the Republican Party platform. They fought them on property tax resolution, all of these things. I don't see Randy Head disrupting any apple cart, and it tells me the fact that Braun was okay with this, that gives me major concern about any tangible changes actually coming to the Republican Party.
Well, what about him hitting the ground running? Like, there's not going to be any on-the-job training for him. He already knows it.
Based on his voting record, I'd like him to hit the ground tripping, Casey. I mean, it's just nothing ever changes. And Braun told me he's this outsider. He keeps doing insider stuff, right? Like, look at who he picked originally for lieutenant governor. That didn't work out for him.
Yeah.
Look at now who he supported to be state party chairman. Why would I believe that anything is going to change when the sorts of decisions and key choices being made by Braun seem to be status quo from the operation we're currently seeing. Yeah. I'm not asking this to be a jerk. I'm not asking this to be facetious. I'm talking as an outside observer. I keep seeing the same types of choices and people.
Yeah.
So why would I believe the policies are going to be any different?
He's building his team with the people that he knows.
Right.
Yeah. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. And coming up, we've got the inaugural WIBC The Fan Pickleball Tournament.
Wait. We got to team up with those dirt bags over there at the Fan? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, we do. It's presented by Franciscan Health. It's going to be held on August 24th and 25th at Farmers Bank Fieldhouse in Lebanon. You can register to play at WIBC.com. There's going to be different divisions, Rob. You can play even.
Oh.
I know that you don't know anything about pickleball.
I know nothing.
But you could play, too, because there's going to be different skill levels.
Maybe Andy Sweeney will be on my team. We've kind of become buddies. Mm-hmm. He's on The Fan. Of course, he does the morning show over there at The Fan. Maybe Andy Sweeney will be on my team. I actually think the most I actually told our boss, David Wood, about this. I think the best thing we could do, because you got to go to WIBC to register. Mm-hmm. It's in August, right?
Yeah, August 24th and 25th.
Is because let's face it, I don't really know anything about pickleball, but I want to see all of our loyal listeners and say hello to them. But I feel like I do have something to offer, Casey, and we talked about this previously.
What's that?
It's in Lebanon where this event is.
Yes.
So I think on one court, we should just block it off, and me and old mouthy Matt Gentry, the mayor out there, we could just scream at each other for a couple hours. And so if you get bored with the pickleball or you need a rest in between, we can yell at each other about LEAP and about IEDC and about water. And it'll be a good time.
That'll be the entertainment, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And there's an alcohol sponsor,
Deep
right?
Eddy Vodka's going to be there with their cocktails.
We'll just keep Matt and old mouthy Matt and I'll just keep drinking Deep Eddies and just shouting at each other. It'll be a great time.
Well, head over to WIBC.com if you're interested in playing pickleball with the fine folks here at this radio station. Okay, there was a really cringe proposal that happened. That MMA star.
Yeah, this was bad. This
didn't
end well.
Yeah. We have to discuss it coming up from 93 WIBC.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, it's our inventory reduction sale. Take up to an extra 20% off the already low sale price on in-stock goods. Plus, huge discounts on special orders from Lazy Boy, Smith Brothers, Hollywood, Berlin Gardens, and lift chairs. We guarantee the best price, the best service, and free delivery only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Getting closer. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. President Biden and former President Trump will meet in the first 2024 presidential debate in just 2 days. The candidates will make their pitch to voters less than 5 months before the election during a debate hosted by CNN in Atlanta. Both have accepted new rules for a new format for the 90-minute debate, which will not include a live audience. Listen to the debate live here on WIBC. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange will be a free man.
He is heading to Saipan, the Northern Mariana Islands. Assange will plead guilty to a charge of conspiring to unlawfully obtain and disseminate classified information relating to the national defense of the United States. He was behind the WikiLeaks release of thousands of documents from U.S. Army soldier Chelsea Manning in 2010.
Fox's David Spunt. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
First Financial Bank. Get 4.6% APY on money market accounts and high rates on CDs. Stop into your local First Financial Bank to start growing your money today. What are you waiting for? It's easy. Take advantage of our great rates. APY equals annual percentage yield. $25,000 minimum deposit required for money market. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC. Visit bankatfirst.com for details.
First! Hey guys, it's Rob from my friends at Life Church. You know, we talk about this a lot on this show, that over the years, many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church, and this Sunday, that could be you as well. They're warm, they're welcoming. They'd love the opportunity to meet and welcome you and your family. And where else can you say our pastor could be the next lieutenant governor of the state of Indiana? Life Church, that's where Life Church has campuses all across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, and amazing online services. You can see everything for yourself. LifeChurchIN.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon, homemade taste of Bluebell, and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell has a great sense of timing, like bringing out Southern Blackberry Cobbler ice cream in time for summer. Rich ice cream with luscious blackberry flavor combined with flaky pie crust pieces and a blackberry swirl. The perfect summertime treat.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your local grocer and pick up your favorite flavor today.
Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indie Decorative Concrete patio. Indie Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC.
Well, timing is everything, and this MMA fighter has horrible timing.
Yeah, bad move.
So he was left humiliated in front of 20,000 fans. He was at this MMA event, and he lost, right? What are you looking at him for?
Well, that was a deep cut of
Kiss?
It was Slade. It was the original Come On Feel the Noise.
Yeah, I would say that's a deep cut. Anyway, I didn't mean to get you distracted, Casey. I was just like, what am I listening to?
Well, he asked about Slade, and I thought he was going to play Run, Run Away.
Yeah,
I didn't think you were going to go with that deep cut.
Well, that version of
deep cut.
that version of that song made me want to run away. Anyway, go ahead, Casey. What about
the MMA fighter? Yeah, he lost a fight, and then afterwards, he got down on one knee and proposed to his girlfriend, and guess what?
Yeah, she said no.
She said no.
Okay.
No thanks. and then she accused him of cheating on her.
So what was this guy's name?
Lucas Bukavaz.
Very good. So old Lucas got his backside handed to him in the ring, which I'm sure he's infinitely better at fighting than I would be. My version of fighting is so anyway, I come out blasting. But the he loses in the MMA match, and then off the loss while he's on television, right? Decides I'm going to ask this girl.
This is the time.
Now it's one thing, like remember the swimming thing where the woman made the Olympic team, and then the boyfriend gets down and proposes to her after she gets out of the water, and it's like, hey, you've just had this great conquest, and I know she's going to say yes, and so what a perfect time to whatever, and everybody cheers and goes ballistic. Well, this guy lost, and he's the one doing the proposing, and she said no.
Right. Why would he ask her after he loses? Like, she doesn't want to marry a loser.
Well, I mean, and even if it's the next day or the whatever, like in the ring at the MMA, I mean, I don't know. Where did your husband ask you to get married?
In front of the Christmas tree in the family room.
Oh, okay, so you didn't have some big, because that's the thing now. You gotta go to some mountainous range and hire 7, locals to
I had
take photos.
Two rules. I said I don't want the ring to be in food, because that was a thing for a while where you hide the ring and
what?
In food.
You're making that up. You people did that in the 90s?
That was a thing. You'd hide a wedding ring in
What if you ate it?
Exactly. I said I don't want it in food.
What do you mean you hid it in food? What does that even mean?
That's what people were doing.
Tell me what you mean. What does that I don't even understand what that means. You hid it in food.
The guy would take the engagement ring, put it in food, and as the lady was eating the food, boom, she would discover a diamond ring.
Wait. So let's say you would have a $5,000 ring, and you would take a piece of key lime pie and stick a $5,000 ring in key lime pie that a person could swallow?
Yes. That was the thing.
What the heck was wrong with you people?
So I said, I don't want that. Don't put it in food.
Okay.
And the other rule was, I want to be showered. Like, just make sure I look somewhat pretty.
Oh, you want, okay. Like, you didn't mean like showered with gifts. You meant like, I want to be presentable.
Clean.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Very
yes.
good.
And it didn't matter anyway because we were alone.
Right. Oh, there was nobody there. He didn't do some big
No, it was not a big thing. It was just the two of us.
Because now the thing I see all the time is like, and Harold was so romantic. He paid some guy $7,000 to take the photo of him proposing to me. Like, that's the new thing. And then you got to, my nails have to be done. And it seems like to be about everything but the actual marriage itself. However, so, okay. But this guy took his shot after he just gotten defeated on television,
Mm-hmm.
and then he got defeated again. This has to be the worst day of his life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he gets down on one knee after he just lost, and he asks her, and then she accused him of cheating in front of her. It just, don't mix your personal life with your public persona.
Well, look, and I'm sure there are some fine people who do the MMA. That's a pretty rough lifestyle.
Mhm.
And I'm going to guess the people that, the sort of relationships that you tend to engage in may not always be the most productive based on sort of like dating a boxer, right?
Mhm.
Back when boxing was the thing. There's women, if you're a woman, there's women everywhere that are around your person. They're in a very violent sport. It tends to be a sport that promotes, things, drinking, etc. I'm not sure how that would turn out anyway, but wow, yikes, to be
double whammy.
To be told no.
And he did it all in front of a global audience.
Now, my follow-up question to this is, I get the people get engaged to get married.
Mm-hmm.
Do people still say, do you want to be my girlfriend? Is that still a thing, or does that just become an implied thing, or how does that work? Now, you have a younger daughter. How does it work
Yeah,
these
I
days?
think so.
Do you still say, would you like to be my girlfriend?
Yeah. You want to be boyfriend or girlfriend?
It still gets
we
asked.
won't see other people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think that's a big moment.
So until
too.
you ask that, then you could see other people
Yeah,
until it gets
'cause
asked.
It wasn't solidified.
So you
in
got a
any
free
sort of way.
pass on that if you were.
Tell me the story about how you proposed to Gabrielle.
This show is not all about me.
Uh-huh. Why won't you tell me? What? What? Okay. You want nothing to do with this. Oh, boy. I just completely caught you off guard. Wow. If you're watching on YouTube, can you tell his face?
I think I've told this story
You're
before.
bright
that
red right
I just
now.
decided if
What happened?
a guy had bet on won the golf tournament, I was going to do it.
No.
That's what I told her.
Uh-huh. You knew you were going to ask her either way.
Yeah, but I thought, what a great story that would make. That if JJ Spawn won the golf tournament.
Uh-huh.
So after she got done being happy, I said, I asked
You're
her.
really lucky.
I asked her, she obviously said yes. And I asked her, and I said, you're really lucky. And she said, what do you mean? I said,
had he lost.
JJ Spawn won that golf tournament. What does that have to do with anything? Well, I decided if he didn't win, I lost my bet. I wasn't going to ask.
Did you have the ring when you asked her?
Yeah, my wife is awesome. You know why my wife is awesome? Because she knows how thrifty I am. And you know what my wife did?
What?
Her grandmother's ring was the ring she wanted for her engagement ring.
that's
So you know
sweet.
what that ring cost me?
$0.
$5 to get it clean, Casey. That's when I knew she was the girl for me.
She's thrifty. So the box that my ring came in, we still put on the Christmas tree every year.
Oh, that's cool.
As an ornament. Because
That's
it was
cool.
It was around Christmas time when he asked me.
Excellent.
Yeah, so we keep that up there.
That's really good. I
Did
like
you
that.
set a date right away, like right after you asked?
Oh
her?
yeah, I wasn't going to give her a chance to change her mind, so we got married like 2 months later.
Yeah.
But we didn't have a big wedding. We got married in my backyard.
Right.
So
There we go.
And I did my wedding for under $500. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
And food and everything.
You are thrifty. Okay, somebody else we need to talk about. Britney Spears. Did you see? She's finally patching things up with her sons, Sean Preston.
Aren't
and
they adults
Jaden.
now? Are they?
They are adults, and they had a lot of drama, a lot of distance over the years, and it was all played out in the public eye again, just like this MMA fighter.
Yeah, 'cause
right?
she's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
She's not.
Lots of wild moments, lots of ups and downs.
Really, not somebody who should be in charge of children. She's crazy.
Apparently, it was her brother who played Britney's brother played a big role.
Well, look,
in making their reconciliation happen.
Look, and that's a good thing, right? I mean, once people become adults, they can deal with things different. They process things different. They make better choices because they understand things better. They understand that mental illness, which she clearly suffers from, is a very real and scary thing. It's probably great for those kids they got away from her while they were children.
Mm-hmm.
But once you're an adult, yeah, absolutely. I think this is great, and hopefully they can have a relationship and bridge that back together. I think that's wonderful. But man, she was somebody who really, and much of it no fault of her own. Look, she is in many ways a victim. She was not ready for that level of fame. She mentally wasn't capable of processing that level of fame. Nobody even understands the level of fame that like a Britney. Taylor Swift is the only person who comes. This is sort of that level. And look, Taylor Swift largely became super famous in her 20s. Britney Spears was Was she even 18 years old when she became?
Oh, no, she was like a Mouseketeer.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like, Taylor Swift's kind of had an evolution where she became more and more famous.
Mm-hmm.
Britney Spears was the biggest pop star in the world by the time she was 18 or 19 years old. I mean, it's totally unfair to somebody like that. She had issues anyway. And so I'm glad as an adult that maybe she can reconcile with these kids and they can have a relationship together.
Yeah, and it just shows that even with the craziness of her celebrity life, family ties are important.
Everybody remember this at the end of the day. And I always used to say this about celebrities because you know me. My thing is I'm not sure there's anybody alive that I haven't met that I'd walk across the street to meet. And I say that because everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time, right?
Mm-hmm.
We get this idea of celebrities that they're bigger, they're better, they're whatever. They have different lives, they have different lifestyles, they have different experiences, but it doesn't make their experiences any better or more important. It might be interesting to us. We might think, oh man, that's cool. But they failed the same way we do. They have problems the same way we do. They have more money, and they might be able to mask it. But they're just human beings. They're just people.
All right. Speaking of money, there was this man who found $4 million of cocaine.
I'm sorry.
While he was looking for sea turtle
Did you
nests.
see Kevin perk up there when he heard $4 million of cocaine?
Did he? So this happened in Florida by Amelia Island. And according to the police report, it was 70 pounds of cocaine bricks that are worth $1 million in brick form. The street value, $4 million.
You can keep it?
No.
Is there some sort of finder's fee?
What do you do with that? You know that you've come across something that could be of value. The person who found it turned it in to police.
Yeah, good for them. I don't
and
even
did not get any reward.
I don't even know if I know cocaine what it is. Like, I mean, I'm so I've never done any drugs.
Like if you stumbled across it.
I think it's sugar or powder or something. I mean, I don't even know if I'd know what it is.
Yeah. Well, this guy did. He turned it in, but it still is a reminder about the drug smuggling problems in Florida. All right, coming up, what are we going to talk about? Oh, right, cheapest places to live. 2 of the cities on this list are in the great state of Indiana. We'll tell you what they are coming up from 93 WIBC.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof, and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and stop smoking without cravings, irritability, or weight gain. Early bird special only $49.99 guaranteed. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all or your money back. Seminar 8 p.m. on Thursday, July 25th at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport in Indianapolis. Or 2 p.m. on Saturday, July 27th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites Indianapolis Northeast in Noblesville. Registration 30 minutes before seminar. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Nameless Catering celebrates 10 years of business this summer. A lean beginning with just $500 in startup cash and a 200 square foot kitchen in Fountain Square, Nameless Catering has grown to be one of the biggest and best caterers in Indiana, serving weddings and events from 30 guests and on up to 30,000. Nameless Catering can handle it all. Reliability, great communication, and exceptional food keep Hoosiers coming back again and again. Check out namelesscatering.com.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning. Owner Robert Kirby reminds us you don't have to be blessed with American Standard equipment to be a customer.
Our technicians are trained to work on any make or model.
we're real customer oriented, so we want to do the best for the customer. So we're going to give multiple options for repair, replacement, what's the best for the customer.
Just go to KirbyHeating.com. Serving Hendricks and surrounding counties, Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Would you like fries with that? Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kinnett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
And you complain about the clothes I wear, and you explain there's other boys out there.
Rob, everybody's trying to make their dollar stretch just a little bit farther these days.
You figured out how to do that?
Well, U.S. News and World Report is inviting you to move.
Oh.
To one of the cheaper places to live in the country.
Congratulations. It's so bad your only recourse now is to move somewhere.
Yeah, get out where you currently live and go to a place that may or may not be better. But according to their report, they have come up with some cities that are the cheapest in the country. And lo and behold, 2 of the cities on the list are right here in the great state of Indiana.
Oh, how exciting.
Yes. The first one on the list, Fort Wayne, Indiana. They say that Fort Wayne has a rich history that's reflected in its architectural gems.
You ever been to Fort Wayne?
I have been to Fort Wayne, and at one time when I used to travel to Fort Wayne on a consistent basis, you could tell you were in Fort Wayne because there was a strip club on every corner. Not 1, not 2, but 3 showgirls.
You lived in South Bend for many years, and I always thought that was interesting. I went up there in, this would have been 2020, when it was Buttigieg-mania. Oh, and he's the greatest mayor in the world, and he's gonna do for the country what he's done for South Bend. And I will just never forget this, going into South Bend on 31, because you can just get on 31 and you never have to get up. Yeah, and you're greeted by, and look, these are all law-abiding, fine businesses, and legally there's nothing wrong with them. I'm just saying, I'm not sure I'd want this to be like the entrance gateway to my town. It was like a surface used car lot. I think there was a blood bank in there.
Probably.
I believe
a fireworks store and then a tobacco shop.
Like a cash, check into cash place type of place. And I just remember thinking, boy, if this is what he's going to do to the rest of the country, this ain't going to be great. And it turns out Biden did exactly that to the rest of the country.
Well, mentioning South Bend, guess what?
Oh, what?
It's on the list of one of the cheapest places to live in the entire country. And they cite that there's a youthful atmosphere that's a good thing for the economy.
Have they been to South Bend?
I don't know if they actually sent reporters, U.S. News and World Report, in South Bend.
Now, back me up on this.
Yeah.
Because South Bend is basically a giant hellhole, save for the Notre Dame campus, which is technically not even a part of South Bend, as I understand it.
Right. It's got its own zip code.
And there's like a medical district that is pretty nice. And every other part of that, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to pump gas too long because I have a fear I'll be accosted.
Never know.
Right.
They do note the University of Notre Dame as an illustrious college and a good football program. And I think that's where they're coming up with the youthful vibe.
Oh. But isn't technically Notre Dame not a part of South Bend? Isn't it its own little world?
Technically,
right.
it is. It's got its own zip code, and it's considered its own little place.
Sure.
But it is a major employer in town. The other major employer in town is a grocery store chain.
Don't you? But there's some big hospital type of complex up there that I remember, too, where it was like all brand new. Everything around that was very nice and luxurious. And then everything outside of that and the Notre Dame campus, it was like, what dystopian world have I entered here in South Bend?
Yeah, this is South Bend. Welcome to it. Well, the medical complex that you're referring to, it's not so new anymore.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, it's probably 20, 25 years old now.
Oh, it looks brand spanking new and shiny compared to everything else in South Bend.
So they say the average household income in South Bend is $43,000 a year.
And wait. Household income?
Household income, $43,000 a year. And renters only should expect to pay $814 a month, which is well
They're
below
getting ripped off.
the national
They're
average.
getting hosed.
Do you know when I first moved to South Bend, we lived in an apartment complex, and upstairs for me was Angela Ganote.
What?
Yes. She's a reporter here in town, right?
Wait, so you and Angela Ganote were living in basically the same building at one point?
The same building. She was directly upstairs from me.
Now, what's the story where in the late 60s, it was like one of the Eagles was living up top and Jackson Brown was living in the bottom out in California, Laurel Canyon or whatever that famous place is.
Mm-hmm.
And you always think about, wow, think about that. At some point, there was this mad scientist doodling around on a piano in the basement while some great vocalist was singing to it up top, and at some point their worlds collided. That's you and Angela Ganote.
Our worlds collided here in Indianapolis.
Two of the most well-assembled broadcasters in central Indiana at one point living in the same apartment complex. How about that?
And now living in the same center of all of Indiana.
How about that? What are the odds?
Okay, the other thing I wanted to bring to your attention was that Alex Trebek is being honored. You remember him from Jeopardy.
Is this horrible that whatever you're about to say, I was going to just go, he's dead, Casey?
He is dead.
I thought you were going to say something like he's... I thought you were going to try to tell me he was throwing at the first pitch at a Cubs game or something.
He's doing the Tournament of Champions. No, he's being immortalized with the new U.S. stamp. And I'm wondering if this is going to be a collector's item. Did you or anybody you know ever collect stamps?
No.
That was the thing for a long time.
Yeah.
I know my dad did that when I was very young, and we would pore over his stamp books.
Was there any...
I wish I knew where they were now.
Well, I was going to ask you, when he passed away, who got the stamp book?
I think that he probably got rid of those books long before he passed away, because I don't recall ever seeing them.
You know, the only stamp that I can visibly remember is the Elvis stamp with where he's holding the microphone. Other than that, though, I know nothing about stamps. So Alex Trebek is going to get a stamp?
He's going to get a stamp, and it's going to pay homage to his 37 seasons. Of course, he passed away in 2020, but the stamp will be in the form of an answer.
Wasn't he Canadian?
He was Canadian. Isn't that interesting? He's going to be on a U.S. stamp. Speaking of Canadians doing things for the United States, last night during the Stanley Cup.
Did you watch that?
I did watch that.
I know your husband was watching it.
Right before, did you see Alanis Morissette, who is a Canadian, sang our national anthem?
Well, that's kind of wild, isn't it?
And then she turned around and sang, "Oh, Canada."
You know,
I thought she did a good job.
Here's where the internet really can save you. I had totally forgot this Game 7 was going on last night. And
no
then,
surprise.
And then I saw your husband post something about how he was immersed in it, and I thought, oh, that's on one of those channels that's free. I get one of those, and I went and watched it, and I was so glad I did. So I owe your husband a big thank you. I would not have even remembered. And that was a great game.
Yeah, the most interesting part about that game was the MVP from the other team won.
Oh, really? From Edmonton?
Yes, that rarely happens. So Florida won.
Oh, yeah.
Florida, what? The Panthers?
The Florida Panthers. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup. Florida, it was crazy. Florida had won the first 3 games. Edmonton had won the next 3 games, and then Florida wins 2-1 in a very exciting game and finish. The Stanley Cup trophy.
But the MVP went to someone on the Oilers.
That's a pretty rare thing.
That's rare. Yeah, exactly.
But for once, the internet did me some good. Your husband reminded me that game was on.
Oh,
and
well,
I'm so glad I saw the end of it.
Aren't you just so grateful he's in your life? You're welcome.
One of the things I'll do on this show.
You can take him if you want.
Casey just hates anytime I say anything nice about her husband, so I just am over the top in my gushing praise of.
That's not true.
Hey, he's going to be filling in on Thursday, isn't he?
He is, and you know what we decided? We're going to run season 1 of the debates to get everybody caught up for season 2 on Thursday.
All right, we got to go home.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you for listening today. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
The Indiana Derby is one of the best days of summer. It's the state's biggest horse racing event with over $1 million in total purse money on the line. This is Racing Rachel inviting you to Horseshoe Indianapolis, Saturday, July 6th for all the fun. The 30th running of the Indiana Derby has a loaded race card with 8 premier races featuring some of the nation's top 3-year-old thoroughbreds. And off track at Horseshoe Indianapolis, we've got loads of other Derby Day entertainment for fans too, like a free cigar rolling station for the first 500 people, a $1,000 hat contest, a handicapping contest, plus mega bet drawing, magic mirror selfie station, food trucks, and more. All ages are welcome, plus admission is free. So is parking. First post time is noon, and racing goes rain or shine with plenty of seating both indoors and out. So join